Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. A fine Redemption Thursday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, just know this. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and at our own audio vault. That's a good thing. You can always email the show if you like to. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameron.show. Use the WTSM app for your mobile devices, and you can follow us, watch the show being performed on ESPN Tallahassee on the YouTube there. Yeah, good. Redemption Thursday wagers in a moment. Florida State, Louisville with not a lot of buzz is disappointing, right? I'm excited about the game for some reasons that might not interest you, so I don't bring it up on the show. But I'm noting I have my dad comes to every game. He has for over 30 years. And so he's got a set of 4 tickets. He's had season tickets forever. But, you know, every other weekend or any of the big games preseason, you kind of circle the games on your schedule and you'll look and say, well, this year anyhow, before it got messed up by the hurricane, you had the Miami game, obviously. Everybody calls you then. I'll be up for the Miami game. You know, can we get together for a beer? Let's all gather here. Here's where I'm tailgating when you're done with your pregame show, all that kind of stuff. But Miami was a big one. Louisville was a big one. Obviously. And so those were 2 because it's not a great slate. You know, NC State maybe a little bit, but everybody was meeting in Atlanta for Alabama. But this was the one that we thought preseason would be a night game, would be a revenge game. It still is a revenge game, I suppose. But this would be the one that added the great buzz around it. And it doesn't currently because obviously Florida State's season went a different way. But so has Louisville's. And so the buzz around the season for them also dried up, and they're dealing with a whole lot of other stuff with the situation with Pitino and the athletic director, and Jurich is gone, and so Mark Ennis will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. He covers Louisville athletics and does a great job, and I'm going to have him on to talk a little bit about where they're at and what's going on with their season in the 5 o'clock hour. But anyhow, the buzz for them isn't surrounding this game either, and so I had a friend call today and say, hey, are there still tickets available? Oh, yeah. Yeah. The misnomer is that they would be hard to find. No, they're available and in prime sitting locations for probably half of what you thought they would be.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you $5.
That's what it feels like, right?
Cash.
Yeah, cash money. I'll give you 20, 50-yard lines, 20 rows up. Have a good one. It's stunning, and there are a lot of reasons for it. But primarily, it's that the team hasn't played well. But it is a chance now for Florida State to get to 500, to go to 3-3, and steady the course, and maybe gain some positive momentum. I know that's not what we thought we'd be talking about day in and day out leading up to the Louisville game, but it's the reality of the situation. And they do have an opportunity. We do other shows, and when you do that, you start really researching the team that you're playing that week, so that you're obviously informed. And when you look at Louisville, whether it's advanced metrics, whether it's just looking at their games, like going back and pulling up their games from ESPN3 and watching them play, you can see why their fans are frustrated. They're not very good. Just period, they're not. I mean, he's still a talent. Lamar is still a really unique talent. And he has his moments where if you're a defense, you could do everything right. That's the frustrating aspect about great players and unique talents, is that you could do everything that you're supposed to do within the scheme, within the play call, and a guy just makes 3 and 4 people miss and takes off, and he's faster than your DBs, he's faster than your linebackers for sure, and you're in trouble. He's more elusive than some people's running backs, so you got that problem, and that's going to probably bite you. And when you go back and watch Louisville, that happens every game. There's a moment in every game, even the ones they've lost, where he makes a play that you go, oof, what are you going to do there? That's ridiculous. So count on seeing that on Saturday, and be prepared to have that frustrate you. But the key is obviously to not have that happen 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 times like it did a year ago, where the man's just free to do whatever he wants. And last year, it should be noted that in addition to running all over Florida State, he really threw the ball well. There was some pinpoint accurate passes out of the pocket. And that'll happen when your confidence grows and you begin to feel like you can do no wrong. And that was the frustrating aspect of last year. He did some things in the game a year ago that he didn't do in any other game. I mean, it was ridiculous. So Florida State's got to frustrate him, got to get him to the ground, got to knock him down, make him pay when he does run. And then I think on offense, Florida State's going to have to run the football and try to keep Louisville's offense off the field. But the game sets up for it, Tom. Louisville's defense just got run roughshod over, and they didn't show a lot of heart. You know, when we watch Florida State's defense have a tough day, one of the first things that I'll look for, especially if a team runs the ball well against us, I'll look at those run fits, and I'll see who wanted to put their head in there, who wanted to sacrifice for their teammate, who wanted to fill a gap so that somebody else could make a play and force a play outside, et cetera. And a lot of times, you know, you could use the Bucs as an example in this last game against Arizona. You don't see the want to, and you don't see the what for, and you don't see the toughness that's required of a defensive player to tackle somebody and to stop a running game. And when that happens, it's as demoralizing as it comes. And when you watch Louisville right now with their run defense, they're quick to check out of the toughness department.
Well, one thing that we can say about that, too, is that an early kick at Boston College has an effect, like an early kick at Duke or Wake Forest. And I would think a noon kick here in Tallahassee, even if it's not a sold-out crowd of 78,000 or 80,000 or whatever our capacity is these days, they're still going to want to get right against Florida State. The question is, can you beat it out of them quickly? Can you remind them that they're not good at it? And then at that point, what do? But I would think, given the film that they have to review this week, that defense, especially against the run, they're going to come out with at least some level of intensity, knowing that this is Florida State. Put the record aside. You know, the university's and the program's reputation stands for itself, and people like getting wins over Florida State when they can get wins over Florida State.
Oh, it's a badge, sure. Yeah.
Absolutely it is, especially here in Tallahassee.
Let me just mention something, because I think it was an accident. I don't normally draw attention to it, but they lost at home last week to Boston College. They gave that up at home. Not
Excuse me. Forgive me.
No. I'm just saying, I wanted, just for listeners' purposes, that's how listless they were at home. Now, they have a lead, like you talked about. They have the big lead. And they just start going through the motions. And if you go back and watch that, it's like there's a moment when BC begins to believe.
Well, yeah. It's 21-0, and then a score, then they respond,
right.
And then a match score. Right,
yeah,
yes. They're not going away.
No.
BC's not going away, so what are you going to do about it?
And it's weird to watch them decide nothing. We're going to do nothing about it. It'll be interesting to talk to Mark, because there's a level of quit there that, you know, that always raises the antenna.
Yes.
No doubt. I think maybe, Tom, that's why we're seeing this spread remain over a touchdown for Florida State in some places. You know, if you just watched Florida State and you just watched the game they played where, you know, they win 17-10, there's some elements of it that are frustrating, some others that are positive, but nothing that jumps off the page from a betting standpoint that would have you go, oh, well, yeah, they're going to kill Louisville. They're going to cruise to victory. These are two programs passing in opposite directions in the night. You know, you wouldn't say that about what happened, and yet that's what the line suggests.
Well, yes, that's what the line suggests, and Vegas does have a bit of inside knowledge, and perhaps, I mean, you put up that effort at home in front of your faithful. Good gracious.
Right.
But I would say, and I think you hit it right yesterday when you said the Louisville fans that do travel, or the Louisville fans that live around here, will drive to the game. And our fans are going to walk into the building feeling the same way, like, all right.
Yeah.
Here comes
knows.
the kickoff. All right, let's see what happens here. You know? Like, I don't know that there's going to be major trash talking in the parking lots between tailgate Louisville and tailgate Florida State. It may be, hey.
Good to see you.
You know, I hate you for killing us last year, but I'll talk to you in the post game. We'll find out.
Well, it's kind of funny because it's the Spider-Man meme, you know, just pointing at each other. You know, I don't know what to expect. As the week has gone on, you asked me yesterday about the confidence level, and I was at 5.5, and I felt like that baby was pegged. That's about as far as you can get in any one game. If it's possible to move it to a 6, I'm getting in that direction.
The daily confidence level.
Yeah, I think I'm at a 6, and maybe that's just me wanting to be at a 6. Maybe I just want that. But, again, we reached out to Mark. I know you booked the interview, and I've talked to Mark before, and between the two of us kind of texting with him. They're not real confident. I mean, just the feel you get
Right.
is that they don't really feel very good. And plus, they've got all these other distractions going on there, which is a really unique situation.
Well, and what they're worried about is they can't defend anybody in either facet of defense. So that's the number one problem.
That hurts your feelings.
Number two is, well, Lamar's gone next year, and all the goals that they had, which were the same as ours. You know, they believe what they believe. We believe what we believe. We were both wrong. But all those are off the table. So what do you do now? If you can't stop anybody and your star quarterback is gone, the dream is dead.
And how focused and dedicated is he?
Right. And what's the dynamic of your head coach if Jurich is not the athletic director? Will he be around next year? So you have all of that going on at the same time. Then they have to get on a plane and get up and ready to go for a noon kick in Tallahassee against a talented Florida State team, if nothing else.
I think it's so odd to note how quickly things can change because I'll say this. There's no way, if you told me last year after they got done stomping Florida State, that we would arrive at this place where that program would be asking, and some of their fans, a large contingent, are asking whether or not they want Bobby Petrino to be there. Now, listen, scumbag aside, the guy knows football and is a very good offensive play caller and has been one for many years and on almost every stop that he's been at. That's almost universally accepted. Good guy? No. Shady as all hell? Absolutely. Can he run an offense? Yep. And if you're at Louisville, and I'm not trying to knock the program as a whole, but when you're trying to establish yourself, you bring that guy back as they did. He has the success that he has. He gets Lamar Jackson to win a Heisman Trophy. They get some signature wins. They have some highlight moments on the national stage. Season didn't end well, but they have some moments where they're in the conversation.
Well, and the infrastructure of the whole program is being lifted. I mean, just like they're closing in that open end zone of the stadium, so too are the gaps being mined and filled everywhere in that athletic program.
Well, the baseball program is really good. Obviously, the basketball program has been very good for a very long time. So you can go back and you see this and you see the investment and you see the want to and you see the infrastructure and you see all that and you go, okay, well, they're a program on the rise, they're a program on the come, and they got a guy that can call a game. And now here they are, Pitino gone, Jurich gone, community in disarray, direction of the programs uncertain, and they're asking, I don't know if we want Bobby Petrino here. We're tired of articles being written about us as a laughing stock and that we're basically mired in scandalous off the field issues on a weekly basis, and it really is masking whatever strides we're making on and off the courts. And so I think or field of play. I mean they're frustrated.
Yeah, 13 months ago we're saying, all right, this is our opportunity here on a Saturday up at Louisville for a back in your hole moment. Listen, you guys are getting fat on whatever you're getting fat on. That's fine, but back in your hole. It's Florida State. It's Clemson. They've arrived. You haven't. Well, they taught us a lesson, but then they went back in the hole themselves. Between the way they finished last year and the way they've started this season, good Lord. They could win this game and still beat us big, and they'd still be back in the hole. We'd just be in a deeper hole.
That's hard to say. Let's not have that conversation. I will mention this. Maybe we should have known the first two games of the season. 35-28 over Purdue, and I'll grant you, Jeff Brom's got Purdue playing really well. He's been a very good he's gotten off to a great start at Purdue. It's impressive what he's doing there. But still, you kind of think, all right, well, if you watch that game, Louisville controlled
a couple of red zone things, turnovers,
And his first game of the year, so you're like, all right. But we both saw 47-35 against North Carolina, and while 47 points is nice, we both know Carolina's defense is awful, and to give up 35 against that lack of heartbeat that is the North Carolina offense, I mean, that's kind of that's curious. But we still didn't say anything. They get drubbed with the first good team they play. Clemson dominates them 47-21.
By the second quarter,
over.
Yeah.
And then, sure, they beat Kent State and Murray State and whatever. You don't even really kind of bat an eyelash at that. But then the next time they play a good team in NC State, they lose by 14. So, again, they get beat up pretty good. And then last week they play Boston College, who's not a good team. And they win 45. They lose 45-42. So, frankly, when they've played anybody who's any good, they've lost. If they've played somebody who cares to play hard, they've been in a battle.
But it is fair to say the danger is if you don't score, if you turn the ball over yourself, if you come up short in the red zone, if you come up short in the red zone and you're kicking threes and not sevens, well, they can outscore you. any given week, they can outscore their
because
opponents.
of that elite player at the
Yes.
quarterback position. Florida State taking on a reigning Heisman Trophy winner without question. It's a unique challenge. They've got to play well. They got to keep contained. They got to make them throw the ball from the pocket. If they do that, though, coupled with this identity of the run game, I think Florida State can emerge here with a win. With the way the season has gone, you'll take obviously a situation where you win back-to-back games, and if you continue to run the ball the way that Florida State has recently, where you had over 200 yards, then over 200 yards, I'd like to believe certainly against this defense you can run for more than 200 yards yet again. Now you've gotten 3 straight games over 200 yards rushing. Your coach is committed to it. The talent is there in that backfield. You're taking the ball out of a true freshman's hands. That is to say, you're not making him win the football game. You're relying on an offensive line to explode off the ball and run block, which is what linemen like to do anyhow. It's not a small offensive line. They struggle in pass pro. But if they can establish themselves in the run game, you can certainly shorten games, which Jimbo wants to seemingly do here. You're all right.
Well, and you have a first-time left tackle, too. That's the other thing. Perhaps these are big games for Mr. Ball moving forward into next
I like
season.
him, by the way. I think he's potentially a good player.
Potentially, yeah.
He's not there yet, but he's a redshirt freshman.
Another chance though this weekend. This is with the way Louisville's playing coming
You got
into
to
this
bully
game.
Louisville here. You could lose, but you got to bully them offensively now. You
want
got to
to
line up and run the ball.
You want to espouse confidence across that offense? Here's your chance. Do what you're supposed to do and score in the upper 20s or in the 30s.
Redemption Thursday wagers forthcoming. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 and ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Cancer Foundation.
In October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Loops. There's probably one right around the corner right now. Free offer valid without coupons or discounts.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
College football programs know the importance of recruiting. If they want to compete at the highest level, they need to bring on the best talent, people who have the skills and drive to be a success. The same is true in business. Recruiting is vital. And with ZipRecruiter, you'll have a smarter and simpler way to assemble your own winning team. With just one click, you can post your job to over 100 job boards. Then ZipRecruiter's matching technology identifies relevant talent fast. 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within 24 hours. And your ZipRecruiter dashboard helps keep everything in one place, so it's easy to review and rank the candidates with the best experience. You'll be building a powerhouse program in no time. Choose the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter, official hiring partner of the Florida State Seminoles.
For your free trial, go to ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles.
ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles. Once again, for a free trial, go to ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles.
New styles are in. You deserve to save more. And starting on Friday, we've got doorbusters galore. Goodies is having a one-day sale. It goes all day Friday through Saturday, and you can score big doorbusters for the whole family. Like 60% off men's, women's, and kids' styles. 60% off fine jewelry, handbags, and home. And buy one, get one free shoes, too. Get ready to save in style. Our one-day sale starts Friday. Goodies. What will new bring out in you? Goodies is part of our Stage family. Offer exclusions apply.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients. Naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Tee it up at the Edwin Watts Golf Demo Day this Friday from noon till 5 at Killearn Country Club and get custom fit by factory reps from Callaway, Ping, TaylorMade, Titleist, Wilson, Cleveland, Srixon, Bushnell, and Mizuno. Demo Day specials include $20 off fairways and hybrids $199 and up, $30 off drivers $299 and up, and $75 off iron sets $699 and up. Some manufacturer restrictions may apply. It's the Edwin Watts Golf Demo Day this Friday from noon to 5 at Killearn Country Club. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee.
You're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Looking at that A.J. Dillon 272 yards on the ground game and thinking, Cam Akers, have yourself a day. He's gonna go for over 150. That could be a bigger number. This is and you're right to point out that you can choose to throw it too. It's funny because I didn't realize this. I was just reading some stats and taking stuff off the Louisville sites. They've had 10 different players this season have their longest catch of the year against Louisville secondary.
10 players.
10 different players.
Oh, my.
10 different players this year have had their longest catch of the season against Louisville. That's a hell of a stat. That'll hurt your feelings.
How about 87, Jared Jackson being one of those? All it is a gain of 5, and that's his longest catch of the year. So there's 11.
But, I mean, man, that's something to behold right there. It's this defense for them is they're all angry. They hired Peter Sermon, the guy from Mississippi State. They brought him in, and a lot of people noted that's a terrible hire because his defense was horrific at Mississippi State last year. And so why did you make that hire? Well, I can't answer that. I have no idea, and I'm happy they did because obviously they've been terrible so far this year.
To me, wouldn't you at least, though, because we're vanilla on offense, and what we do, at least right now, is we'll move the pocket a little bit here and there, get the quarterback a chance to get off the spot, and then, create different angles. But then we're going to run kind of at you, a little outside zone, but it's run heavy. You stack the box and you see what you got. I mean, you have to, right, if you're Louisville?
Oh, if I'm Louisville, I would stack the box, and I'd make the freshmen beat me. I would do that for two reasons. One, I'm scared to death of somebody lining up and running the ball down my throat. They're undersized, so you can run the ball down Louisville's throat, which is what BC did. So I can't get beat that way. I mean, that's as demoralizing as they come, and I'm going to take that away. And I'm going to make a freshman beat me with a somewhat inconsistent, if not outright unreliable receiving core. And the other reason I'm going to do it is Florida State hasn't shown the ability to protect the passer with any degree of consistency. So I'm now asking a true freshman to beat me, which he might, because we've given up, if I'm Louisville, we've given up a lot of long passes this year. But I'd rather take my chances with that than knowing that Cam Akers and Jaquez Patrick can run the ball down my throat.
I just feel like watching this game on Saturday, you'll see a couple of moments, perhaps on a play action, because we've set it up with the run, where if James Blackman can elude the initial rusher, you might have somebody running free down the field. The question is, how much time will he have on those play-action scenarios?
The problem is Louisville does something that is frustrating us currently for both of our football teams. Vernon Hargraves plays well off the ball, and then when you watch McFadden and other corners here, we'll bail with that technique, right? We'll come up and press and then bail, and it's just pitch and catch for the quarterback that recognizes it. So Louisville's corners do that. When you go back and watch them play, they bail all the time, and they give you the underneath play. They're basically saying, we don't trust ourselves not to give up the big play, so we're going to make you earn it and beat us down the field. Well, if Jimbo sees that, look, he's inclined to want to throw the football, and it could be easy pitch and catch stuff, but I still want to establish the run.
We already have enough RPOs from before this year when there were some modern wrinkles to it that, it's a curl flat, right? And then you got a blocker leading the way. So to me, that might be open, but then your receivers have to block, and we haven't been good at that this year. So maybe we just want to stay the hell away from it and call a design run with no option. I don't know.
Press upon them the need to block here. I mean, if you get it done, you're going to get 5 yards easy. I mean, Louisville is not afraid to give up 5 to 7 yards. I mean, they don't care. That's fine with them. They just don't want to get beat over the top. It's interesting to see. I went back and watched 2.5 Louisville games. I didn't see anything that I liked defensively. Nothing. Couple active linebackers. Somebody's got to make the tackles.
Right, but so I remember when we were talking about Louisville-Clemson, and we didn't know how bad this Louisville team was just yet. No. We had kind of assumed that with Wayne Gallman gone out of the equation, Deshaun Watson gone, that Clemson wasn't going to be able to run the football. And then we're texting the night of the game, second quarter.
Man. This is not good.
If they can run the ball like this,
it's over.
This game's already over.
It was over.
And it was. Well, they go and play a couple of patsies and then NC State in the Thursday, whatever. But then last week, the run defense rears its head again. I mean, the beginning of the season, the storyline was their secondary is bad. I mean, really bad.
Yeah.
In this Clemson game, if Kelly Bryant can throw the football down the field accurately, well, there's a chance that Clemson could score in the 30s. We didn't know that they could pick their poison. The question here becomes, do they sell out on one factor? Do they sell out to stop the run and dare you to beat them in the pass because they know they're bad at it anyway? Or do they play bend but don't break and hope that in the red zone you fail? I mean, I suppose the latter strategy, given what we've done in the red zone, might be the correct strategy. But if you're a Louisville fan, I can understand why you might be paying attention to something else at noon on Saturday.
I think what I would do is I would sell out. And if that gives up a lot of points, fine, but at least I'm taking something away that I know, okay, I can get rid of this, and I'd get rid of the run game for Florida State, make the freshman quarterback beat me, and then also offensively, I'd get back to calling design runs, not just scrambles. I'm talking about design runs for Lamar Jackson. I'm going to do a lot of the things that Florida State didn't stop a year ago just to see if they can, and if they can, now I got to adjust. I got you. But why don't we see? If it's not broke, don't fix it. So why not line up and do a lot of what you did a year ago? Now, granted, Florida State was banged up big time a year ago, and you'd like to believe the same sorts of things won't work this time around.
But the funny thing about this game is you would think, based upon the way Jimbo's drawn up the last few games and most of his career, really, and what Louisville tries to do to us and did quite successfully last season, the offenses and the coaching of the offenses, you're trying to accomplish two different things while trying to score at the same time. Florida State, control the clock. Let's make sure that time of possession is our friend. Fewer possessions. We don't need to get that team on the field too many times. Where Louisville is tempo, let's go. They got to be testing us with tempo this weekend. I mean, good Lord.
I would run it every play, and I'd have my man Lamar doing what Lamar does. I would tell Lamar, you're going to get back in the Heisman race if we win this game because you're going to run it 20-plus times easily.
Right. Often we talk about the battle of wills with an offense and a defense, but in a weird way, the two offenses have a battle of wills going on here because we're trying to score at a slower pace and they're trying to score at a greater pace.
Yeah, that was weird. That is a weird sort of dynamic in this game. All right, wagers real quick. Pitt +8 against Duke. Duke's going the wrong direction, and you know how I know that? It's not the shit that they lost 3 games in a row. It's that the head coach, our man, Mr. Cutcliffe, is saying to the press this week, well, this is at times like this you find out what you are. Who you are. Maybe this week an opportunity to really find out who we are. Whenever you get the who we are, graduation rates, winners in life talk. We're about done here.
Here comes a toss pass.
Syracuse +17 against Miami. I got to believe that's the rain, right? So I'm gonna cross my fingers in the real world and tell you that if this is still 17 at game time and it's sunny, give me Syracuse. if it's pouring rain and we got to run the football, Miami's going to cover those 17 points.
We talked about this on Tuesday during the man cave. I was, I got to look at the weather there just in case.
Yeah.
And right now it looks like it's going to be soupy and it's going to be rainy for most of the day before and after kickoff down to Miami. But you never know down there. I mean, it could go in 10 minutes and be gone.
Well, that's not good for Syracuse. Georgia Tech -5.5 against Wake. I like Tech big there. Kansas +39. Too many points. They always rise up against TCU. They'll play tough here. Scott Frost got him going at UCF right now. I'll give 7. You know, the word on the street is that Scott Frost is an ass. A very, very successful coach, a good one, and a guy that I think might very well be Nebraska's next coach. But that said, apparently he's a jerk. I talked to 3 separate people because
really,
yeah, he's a jerk. I could see it.
Sometimes you appreciate an ass, you know?
Yeah, sometimes you need it. Arizona -3 versus Cal. I'll take Arizona. I like that backup quarterback. He's doing some things flashy. Oklahoma State -7 against Texas. They'll romp over Tejas. Notre Dame will kill Southern Cal. I'll give the 3.5. Southern Cal banged up on the defensive line. Notre Dame likes to run. Problems for the Trojans. And in the NFL, we're doing something weird. I'll take Carolina -3 on the road against Chicago, and I'll take New Orleans -4.5 on the road against Green Bay. Taking 2 road favorites in the NFL is not how you make a living.
Living on the NFC South, too.
I'm going to give it a go. And I went undefeated last week with all of my picks, Tom. But the more surprising was the undefeated in the NFL. That's crazy. And I could not find. You see how quick Vegas learns? So last week the experiment was I'm taking every double-digit dog, not named the Giants, and I should have taken them because they not only covered, but they won as well. Anyhow, I took the 3 of the 4 double-digit dogs in the NFL, just noting that all these games are close. I can surely cover with 2 out of the 3. Well, they won the games outright. 2 of them did, and so I covered. This week, I'm doing something odd and taking road favorites in the NFL. Home field advantage is just not what it once was in the league. You see it all the time. Teams capable of going on the road, winning football games. So I'm just going to ignore home field and tell you that Carolina is infinitely better than Chicago, and New Orleans is better right now without Aaron Rodgers than Green Bay. There it is.
There's logic to that, one would think.
I'm selling it, baby.
Then the NFL happens.
Oh, of course. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
And this message is not for you. All year I've been talking about our New For You program to assist good people with dings in their credit. And just last week, a friend of mine came into my office worried about his own credit rating. But thanks to our New For You program, you guessed it, he drove away in a brand new Nissan Altima. We are proud of the fact that we have helped hundreds of people that were previously limited shopping little used car lots where they overpaid, got huge finance charges, and had very few choices on cars to purchase. Some of those lots may actually hurt your credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan and come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco, or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring the right people for your growing business. That means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple. And simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Proof Brewing Company is Tallahassee's first and largest production craft brewery since 2012. They are locally owned and operated inside Railroad Square Art Park. Visit Proof's expansive brewery, outdoor beer garden, and tasting room with live music on Friday evenings. Proof Brewing Company's award-winning beers 850 and Mango Wit are now available in 6-pack cans. Follow Proof Brewing Company on Facebook or visit online at proofbrewingco.com for more info. Proof Brewing Company reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Are you aware of the new OSHA silica dust regulations that went into effect September 23rd? Are you prepared with the correct solutions to make your employees and your company compliant? DeWalt and Cornerstone Tool & Fastener have a full line of OSHA-compliant solutions ranging from tools to accessories and shrouds and even dust extractors. OSHA rules intend to limit workers' exposure to breathable crystalline silica. DeWalt and Cornerstone are your first line of defense with the solutions you need. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway.
It's time for the 11th Annual Brewfest. Over 200 beer varieties and unlimited sampling presented by the Tallahassee Sunrise Rotary Club. Come sample varieties of craft beer to learn what you like. Event is October the 28th from 5 to 8 p.m. held at the Antique Car Museum. General admission is $39 with food available for purchase. VIPs have exclusive access from 4 to 5 p.m. All net proceeds go to charity. Brewfest sells out quickly, so get your tickets now. Visit the Facebook page or brewfesttallahassee.com for event details and ticketing information.
Each morning before you wake, you dream of breakfast like Mom used to make. Eggs, bacon, potatoes too. Can't wait to eat all this amazing food. Then the alarm bell rings and no one's cooking you anything. Real life is hard when your morning is hell. Have breakfast with a fried eggshell.
Introducing the new Naked Egg Taco. Crispy bacon, seasoned potatoes, and melty cheese wrapped in a fried eggshell. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautowworld.com.
This side, it feels like a Friday. But it's not. Speaking of which, we'll be at the 7th Hill Tap Room tomorrow.
That'll feel nice.
I mean, it always is. Nice weather, good people, lots of beer, a lot of Florida craft beers, football talk going into a weekend. Oh, yeah, that's a good time.
The one thing about the nooner, if you're having a disappointing season, is you can watch a whole lot of other football after the game's over. That's the great thing about the nooner. If things are going to be disappointing, you know?
I'm straight old, man. I have embraced being old. I make fun of old people all the time, and I'll make fun of myself as I get old. It's fun to do. But I'll tell you this, I've grown to like noon games like most old people. And it's for the reason you just noted. When the game ends, I've got the rest of the day to watch football, chill out, and hang out with my friends and spend more time, not less time with them. Now, the problem is, listen, don't get me wrong. A good tailgate ahead of a night game, that's all well and good. But you and I do a pregame show.
Right, exactly.
So we're in a unique situation. If we didn't do pregame shows and we were free to do whatever the hell we wanted on a Saturday, then I concur everybody who loathes noon games. I would tell you that I agree that I'd rather have a night game. Saturday night's dope, all-time great things. I'd get over to the stadium around noon. We'd set up shop. We would eat. We'd have the big screens going. We'd throw the football. We'd drink and be merry, and we would all build up with a little Cat 5 maintain on our way into the stadium. Gotcha. But I do pregame shows, and therefore I don't get to tailgate with everybody else. And so for me, getting in here early, doing that pregame show, getting over there, watching us play, and then hanging out afterwards to watch a ton of football and to tailgate with people. It's just a post-game tailgate. I'm fine with that. It's a lot of football. I'm still outside, and I get to have fun.
Yeah, the postgate. We discussed this a couple of weeks earlier.
Postgates are great.
When we thought it was cute that we had a nooner. Now we have, all noon kicks. So
well, that's because we're not any good. But
right,
I don't like the reason for the noon game. I'm just talking about the noon game itself. The noon game itself, I used to absolutely abhor. I would talk about it the way that many people currently talk about noon games, who are mad that all of our games are at noon. I got you. But, pregame show, Jeff's very happy about noon games. I'm fine with it.
And you know what it brings me back to is pregame
6 a.m.
Pregame show intern Tom versus.
No, those were tough for you because you were fresh out of college.
Right.
Well, you're still in college.
Still in college for the first year, yeah.
You hadn't given up the college lifestyle yet, nor should you since you were in college. And, even for the first couple of years you were out of college, you can't give up the college lifestyle. None of us do, so I get it. So you would go out against your better judgment, even after you would tell me, I'm not going out. I don't. We got a noon kickoff tomorrow. I got to set up over there at 6 a.m. It sucks. I'm just going to take it easy tonight. And I would chuckle internally going, he's not taking it easy tonight because here's what's going to happen. His friends that he's going to school with or that just graduated are coming back into town. They're going to go to Tom's apartment, and they're going to all start pre-drinking. And then he's going to say, well, okay, I'll go with you guys. And you're going to go on the strip, and you're going to end up where you ended up. And then the next thing I know, you look like you had a rough go. And I get to the tailgate, me and Eric Llewellyn do the pregame show, and I look over at you profusely sweating, and I laugh.
These allegations are false. Because the truth is they'd come to the apartment, and then they wouldn't shut up, and they'd blare the music in the apartment. So what am I going to do, stew and be mad in my room all night long? NyQuil's not going to work in this situation, so you go downstairs. I don't go drive around and go about town.
I didn't say you drove anywhere, but you often ended up at a mutual love of ours. You ended up at that place.
No.
Might have a spinning wheel.
On a Friday?
Oh, yes. And you'd see your boy Blue. You'd see him the next day. Yeah.
Blue was at the parking lot.
Yeah, the next day.
And then Blue was at Monk's back in the day.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. Listen, man, I stayed up. I did stay up, and that was annoying. But what are you going to do?
It didn't annoy me. You did your job.
I did my job.
You did your job. You were just in pain doing your job.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, because they'd open the lots in those days. They'd say you have to be in by 6. If you're not there by 6, well, you're not in.
Yeah.
Or you have to drive over the curb and around, and
which you had to do a couple times.
I did have to do that a couple of times, but they screwed me on a couple of those.
Yeah.
So did the ice machine because I had to stop and go get ice.
Yeah.
Remember that?
But
that ice machine that was there on
yes,
Tharp.
Yes.
Yeah, it was broken a couple times. That screwed me because the gas stations weren't open. So it was just a mess. But I remember those days, and I guess that's where we're going for this year. But can we stop with this year? And then can we welcome in some 3:30s and 7 p.m.s and 8 p.m.s next year again?
Win this game, my man, and maybe very well you'll stop getting noon games. First of all, we're on the road next week against Boston College on a Friday night. Secondly, If you win the next two, you will have won a 3-game. You'll be on a 3-game win streak by the time we get around to that Syracuse game. Syracuse, of course, upset Clemson. There was a chance we get to that game to be 3:30 at that point, so because of the mild intrigue.
Well, when they upset Miami,
whoa,
yeah,
that's a prime time 8 o'clock
buddy,
kick, baby. The whole country watching, right, or at least regionally. Yeah, no, I don't know that we can get to there, but your best bet night game is on the road against Clemson. Yeah, guys, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think we're getting a lot of desirable night games. I don't think it's going to happen.
Not here, not in our town.
No. And I bet you with the way Florida's playing, that's a noon kick. They're going to be like, can we get this game over with? Let's kick this thing off at 11 a.m. between these two guys.
Well, maybe they'll kick off the ULM game when they reschedule it at 10 p.m. Who knows?
Well, you know, the rescheduled ULM game, which we do believe is going to happen, partly for insurance reasons, by the way, I found out. Kind of
heard a whisper about the red tape, huh?
Yeah, there's some stuff going on there where they kind of have to play this game or else suffer a payout that's really completely unnecessary when you could just play the game. And plus ULM will want their money and we'll want the extra win.
Well, and you can't at that point you can say, well, I'm sorry, season ticket holder, I'm not refunding your money for the missed game. We're gonna full price of admission. We have to keep it.
Chris writes, at Jay Cameron Show, should I wait a little longer? Maybe the price will drop to $4. Well, I referenced the fact that a friend of mine called and said, could he still get tickets for the Louisville game? And were they, or did I know somebody? I said, know somebody. Call and get tickets on the 40. You're fine. They're everywhere. And he was kind of shocked by that.
Just wave a 10 outside of Dogan. You'll just got things thrown at you.
Well, and here's the thing.
Like rice on a wedding day.
This guy, Chris, writes, by the way, when I was a kid, I used to chuck that rice. I wanted people to feel.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, yeah. Get some of that rice. Anyhow, I did. There's a picture of it somewhere, I think. Anyhow, East stands $6.28.
$6.28, you said.
Chris writes this. He sends me a picture of what he's pulled up. The East stands 14. There are 34 tickets available currently. Row 75. I mean,
yeah, but $6 a pop.
That one's $8.
Oh, $8 a pop.
Row 71 is $6.28.
Ooh, okay.
You can get East stands 15. 26 tickets remain at $8 each. Here's some more, a little bit lower. That's not so bad. Oh, look at that. We're getting down into the rows that are reasonable. Only $8.07.
$8.07 specifically.
It's an odd price. $8.55 here. I see 2 tickets for $8.55. Row 17. You get $8.55
for row 17.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So
over under 55,000 this weekend.
That's a good number. It's a real good number. Okay, so here's the serious question about it, though. Is this the result of, obviously, losses, but is this also the result of the storm? Sure, these have to be factors, but, I mean, we're not exciting. Got to win games, man.
Gain of 3. Brings up 2nd and 7.
Just not an exciting product right now. So
3rd and 10 for the defense. There's nothing worse, too. It's like, you talk about the most demoralizing thing is if somebody can run the ball unabated to the end zone, and there you go. There's no resistance. I think a close second place would be giving up 3rd and longs on the regular.
Oh,
that is quite demoralizing.
Yeah. Go sit at a game with my father when we give up 3rd down and long.
Oh, really? I can only imagine.
He gets so pissed. And he remembers every one. Like, he can't remember every scoring play. He can't remember all the great highlights from wins. He'll remember every damn anything 3rd and 5 or longer that we give up. Oh, here we go with this. It's like people get mad at Martin for everything in a baseball game. Like a guy fails to execute a standard play, doesn't move the runner over, doesn't hit the ball to the right side or something when you got a guy on second or whatever it might be. Freaking Martin. I always make fun of that guy. That's my dad on 3rd and long.
But 3rd and longs are particularly, they take something out of your...
That's why Jameis sap people's soul.
They affect the cojones,
Think about all the times on 3rd and 25, 3rd and 17, 3rd and 20, that guy threw lasers.
We good.
Bam. And people would go, damn it, man.
The 2013 season, the numbers were incredible on 3rd and long.
Well, it was crazy. And people they tried everything. They'd blitz him. Nope. Laser. Then they stopped blitzing him, and he had all day, and somebody invariably would get open, and he'd fit it into a very small window.
Is your dad making his way down for
Yes,
this game?
yeah, he'll be there. He'll probably be at the Seventh Hill Tap Room tomorrow. So we'll good.
Well,
time.
why is he going to be at the Seventh Hill Tap Room tomorrow?
Well, because that's where we're broadcasting from, as we're wont to do for home games, and the specials are always great. So there you go.
You more interested in college football this weekend, the NFL this weekend, the MLB playoffs? Should there, still be games this weekend?
Well, I'm very interested in both my teams. I'm very selfish this weekend. It's an important game for Florida State against Louisville, and I am locked into this game, and I do think there's an opportunity to win this game, get a measure of revenge, get to 500, and let's see what happens from here. But if they don't do that and they fall to 2-4, I'm really afraid of what the rest of the season looks like. I'm worried about the bowl streak. There's a lot on the line here. They need to get right, and I think I saw signs last week of them getting right on offense against Duke. I know it's 17 points. A lot of things went well there. This is not a good Louisville defense. They've got to continue to move the football, hang their hat on that run game, and get you a win. If that happens, okay, all right, we can continue to etch further along here into the positive. And then the Bucs on Sunday, Tom, they just lose the game that they did. Jameis is hurt, says he's going to play. I know he's not completely healthy. They go lose that game to Buffalo, the season's over. They're 2-4. They're not coming back from that. So I'm selfishly looking at my two squads this weekend.
And the interesting thing about Saturday is we painted around the picture, but the picture is this, and it's very clear. This is by far the worst defense Florida State's played all season long. By leaps and bounds, this is the worst
because
defense.
First of all, they played a bunch of good defenses, more than all the teams in the country, period. I mean, more than any team in the country, Florida State has faced stout defenses in the form of Wake, NC State, Alabama, not Wake, NC State.
Wake's
Alabama.
okay, though.
Yeah,
they give us problems.
Yeah, always, yeah. Well, they very principled zone.
Exactly right. They do what they do.
Yeah, Miami. And then so listen, this is.
I mean, it's not even close. This is by far the worst defense we've seen this year.
Statistically, and I think from a personnel standpoint too, you look at, they run a 4-2-5. They're kind of an interesting team when you look at the way they line up. Florida State ought to be able to run the ball. I'm getting juiced to watch us run the ball against this defense. I think that's, how I am about the run game. That's man's game, baby.
We could get to 500 by running the football, and it feels better than getting to 500 by then throwing the ball, 55, 60 times.
By the way, it holds true for both the teams this weekend. The only way the Bucs are going to win is to give the ball to Doug Martin 25 times or more in that game against Buffalo too, and they should. I mean, I would do it.
It's a good run defense, so that's the difference on Sunday.
You got to give them the ball. Give them the ball, man. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra E-Max 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Hey, on Saturday, we're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Whole Foods Market, a leader in natural and organic food that brings the highest quality of local and global products to Tallahassee. Whole Foods Market, located at 1817 Thomasville Road, and presented by MMT Clinics of Florida. Visit mmtcfl.com.
To the pylon! a Seminoles touchdown.
Can't decide between fresh steak, seafood, or wings? Well, Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway has it all. From center-cut sirloin and original pastas to fresh salads and favorites like Miller's Signature Zingers, tossed in your favorite sauce. Miller's Ale House has a full-service bar featuring more than 75 beers, plus wine and liquors. Bring the family to watch the big game inside or on their covered patio on one of over 60 HD TVs. However you come to relax, you will have a good time and great food at Miller's Ale House on Appalachia Parkway.
Football is here, Tallahassee, and if you're not watching the games at Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out. With over 28 TVs, you'll never miss a second of the action. Kick your week off with Monday Night Football, where you'll get 2-for-1 wells, calls, and drafts all night long. Then there's Tuesday Night Trivia with Professor Jimmy. Go win yourself some money. What about lunch? Weekdays, pick from over 20 menu items for just $7.50, including a drink. What you doing for Thursday Night Football? How about the Fourth Quarter, where you'll get 225 domestic drafts, 275 domestic bottles, and $4 Jaeger bombs. No weekend would be complete without Bubbles and Brunch. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., get all the mimosas and Bloody Marys you can drink and a breakfast for $18.99. Can you say Uber? Knowles, Bucks, Jags, or Finns, no matter who your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill. Hey folks, Ron Vetrano here with great news for North Florida and South Georgia used car, truck, and SUV buyers. Car Gurus has named its top-rated used car dealer for 2017, Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street. Car Gurus rates each used vehicle for sale based on price and rates it as bad, fair, or a good deal. Who's the most good deals? FranksAutoWorld.com. Think I'm kidding? Type in FranksAutoWorld.com on your smartphone, iPad, or desktop. Get multiple pictures and even a free Carfax of each vehicle and a rating by Car Gurus showing you the price is a good deal. FranksAutoWorld.com.
Oh no! My lunch has been ravaged by ants.
Go to Bandito's Burritos.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
New styles are in. You deserve to save more. And starting on Friday, we've got doorbusters galore. Goodies is having a one-day sale. It goes all day Friday through Saturday, and you can score big doorbusters for the whole family. Like 60% off men's, women's, and kids' styles, 60% off fine jewelry, handbags, and home. And buy one, get one free shoes, too. Get ready to save in style. Our one-day sale starts Friday. Goodies. What will new bring out in you? Goodies is part of our Stage family. Offer exclusions apply.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Game 5 of the NLCS tonight at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The Dodgers lead the Cubs 3-1. Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers, Jose Quintana for the Cubs. After a 6-out save in Game 4, Cubs closer Wade Davis will not be available tonight. It's a travel day in the ALCS. Game 6 tomorrow night in Houston, with the Astros now trailing the Yankees 3-2. Today is the first day of 2017, and it could be the only day with all 4 major pro sports on the schedule. Week 7 in the NFL kicks off in Oakland with the 2-4 Raiders hosting the 5-1 Chiefs. Lakers rookie point guard Lonzo Ball makes his NBA regular season debut tonight against the Clippers, the opener for both teams. 2 more season openers tonight, the Knicks and Thunder in Oklahoma City, the Bulls and Raptors in Toronto. Nets guard Jeremy Lin is expected to miss the rest of the season with a ruptured patellar tendon in his right knee. He got hurt in the opener last night against the Pacers.
Experience why for nearly a century men have trusted Barbasol for a close, comfortable shave. Whether it's extra moisturizing with vitamin E or soothing aloe, all you have to do is sit back and bask in the glory of your close shave. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street. Ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautowworld.com.
Number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, Redemption Thursday edition. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Go there to catch up. If you missed anything, you can stream the show there, but you can also find the archived audio upon the conclusion of the show with all 3 hours posted there and iTunes. You can email the show if you like, GCS at 979ESPNradio.com. You know, I'm looking at these Redemption Thursday wagers and going back through the games of the week in college football, and you kind of, you start out looking at ranked teams and what are some of the matchups that intrigue you or at least raise an eyebrow? For example, number 13, Notre Dame. Number 11, Southern Cal. Number 2, Penn State. Number 19, Michigan, if you want to stretch it. I mean, Michigan's offense is so bad. I don't really look at that as a must-watch game, but I will. Traditional rivalry. I suppose maybe an Oklahoma State-Texas matchup or Oklahoma-Kansas State matchup. Virginia Tech, you think, is going to romp big over North Carolina. There's not a lot of great rank-on-rank matchups there. Yeah.
No, unless you make it interesting. You can make it interesting.
You can always make it interesting, and you may want a guide. You may want a guide from a guy who went undefeated last week. You may want that. And if you do, it's Pitt +8 versus Duke, Syracuse +17 against Miami. If it's not raining. The rain, all bets are off, run like the wind. Georgia Tech -5.5 against Wake. Kansas +39 against TCU. UCF giving 7 to Navy. Arizona -3 against Cal. Oklahoma State -7 against Texas. Notre Dame rolls big, -3.5 against Southern Cal. And then in the NFL, Carolina -3 on the road against Chicago. And New Orleans -4.5 against the Aaron Rodgers-less Green Bay Packers. And I'll take it. Saints are rolling right now. But I did do this. Tennessee hasn't won a game in the SEC yet this year. They're 3-3 on the season, 0-3 in conference.
Well, here's their chance.
And, of course, Alabama hasn't lost a game, period, this year, 4-0 in conference, 7-0 overall. And I noted that Nick Saban, I wanted to go back to when he first got to Alabama, and I was thinking to myself, boy, Tennessee hasn't been very good in a long time. Were they able to sneak a win in there against Nick Saban and Alabama at any point? And I remember the Mount Cody game with a blocked field goal, and he takes his helmet off, which should have been a penalty, by the way.
Yeah, they did not call it, yes.
I'm glad they didn't because it's a silly rule anyhow. But that said, I was trying to think, were these games? Tennessee is winless in the 10 games against Alabama since Nick Saban arrived in Tuscaloosa. So the Volunteers are one of 3 SEC teams that have lost at least 10 straight against Alabama, by the way. The others are Vanderbilt, good to be in that company, and Arkansas. So I was kind of curious, and Alabama, it came up this week when I was looking at game notes, has won 71 straight games against unranked opponents. 71 straight. Now, that is the 3rd longest streak in the history of the AP poll. And you go back through, Miami had a streak from 85 to 95 where they had a longer streak. They were something to behold there. This is crazy. If you want to know just how spoiled Alabama fans have to be by now, and I'm not blaming them. I mean, this is remarkable. If Alabama wins, they'll move to 8-0 on the year. That will be the 7th time in 11 years that they've started the year 8-0. That is ridiculous. Basically, they're 8-0 every year.
Right, yeah, you can toss the first year, too, because he's rebuilding.
Yeah, he's rebuilding, and just get rid of that.
8 out of 10.
Since that time, they're starting 8-0.
80%.
It's amazing. I mean, that is an unbelievable number. Speaking of unbelievable numbers, I mean, again, sorry, Tennessee, I'm not trying to pick on you, but obviously you guys know you got to fire your coach. You know things aren't working out. Tennessee, this is the 7th time that Tennessee has faced Alabama with the Crimson Tide ranked number 1. They lost all previous 6 meetings, and they lost all previous of those by 30 points or more. So the number's 34. This week, I'm like, giving it all day, kids. Giving it all day.
Okay, I saw it at 36. Would you still?
Yes. I mean, yes.
Okay, beyond 36. Magic number 35 there.
Yeah, I think they're going to get beat like 56-7. So, yeah. I mean, I think they're going to get beat like a drum. And history tells me I'm right. They are going to get beat like a drum.
Yeah, history certainly does, doesn't it?
I mean, it's crazy. And I'm not, I know if you're a Tennessee fan, you're like, enough already, Cameron. But I was thinking about, because we're frustrated as fans here at Florida State right now, and you want to get right. And I'm thinking of the teams that had thoughts of, or fan bases that had thoughts of a good season, flights of fancy in their mind before the year began, and other ones that have turned out not so well. And Tennessee keeps coming to mind. Butch Jones is in his 5th season at Tennessee. Do you know what they are in his time at Tennessee in conference?
In conference.
In conference.
This is his
Their
5th
record,
season.
Yeah, and now listen, the SEC is not the mighty SEC anymore. It's
Right.
Alabama and a bunch of
So you play 8 a year, so he's played, 32. He's going on trying to get to 40 now. He's 0-3 to start this season. All right, so I'd venture a guess to say he is 10-25.
He's better than that. He's 14-21.
Okay.
14-21. He is 7 games under 500 in the SEC. My man. That is the 4th worst record in the SEC in that span of anybody. Anybody.
All right, so Vandy, Kentucky, and then somebody
Arkansas.
else. Arkansas.
Has to be
God,
Bielema,
yeah.
right? I mean, he never wins.
Well, that professor's still drunk. He's never come down.
He's listening to this show going, that's right.
You're damn right.
That's
I am.
right. I'm hammered right now.
Mm-hmm. I've never stopped.
Oh, fat Phil Fulmer had won 81 games in the SEC before he ever lost his 21st.
Well, how many wins do you have, Butch?
14. Got 14.
14.
And 21 losses. Not 81 wins to go with those 21 losses. No.
How much money do you have for Wayne Brady tonight?
Oh, man.
$10, huh?
That is absolutely amazing. Michigan has won 3 straight times against teams, these 2 teams between Penn State and Michigan, including a 49-10 win last season in Ann Arbor. Did you know that? Ann Arbor, you can speak. It's not even Wednesday.
That was early in the season, that 49-10 win, if I recall, right? Because then Penn State lost to Pitt, and then it turned all around.
And then Penn State just said, that's enough of this.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because where we are this weekend, I'll get back to Florida State momentarily, but where we are this weekend, you start looking at dates of note and those kinds of things about where we are in the season. You know, the promotional materials right now on Penn State, Michigan, and some of the other big games this weekend, relatively big games this weekend, they use the Kirk Herbstreit sounder where he says it's October. Here's where things begin to matter. And, October the 31st, it's the 19th today. So October the 31st, you get the first CFP rankings. They're released, and then they're released each Tuesday, all the way through November. And I got to thinking about that. We're going to have some controversy here, man. This season lines up trying to find 4.
Well, yes, some years you have 5 and you have to pick 4.
Right,
and some years you got to find 4.
You got to find. Can you find more than 2?
Right. And the thing is, Alabama's default, even though we don't believe they're as good as they have been in the past 5-6 years.
May not have to be.
May not have to be. This may be the right year to be a little bit down, just a tick down. But this is one of those years, too, where, somebody's going to get quote-unquote screwed. But if it follows, the pattern that we've seen so far for the next 6 weeks, who can really get mad? I mean, good God. There are not enough teams where you go, look at them. Or even now where you're saying, well they're catching fire. This group is there's something else. It's Alabama, I guess. I mean, they're blowing everybody out.
Alabama deserves to be there. I mean, based on their resume. I'm not saying they're an elite level Alabama team compared to other Alabama teams, but compared to the rest of college football this year, they're easily it's a runaway.
What I'm saying is, look at 2014, for example, the first year of the college football playoff. Like, well, Alabama, hell yeah. Oregon, everybody said, hell yeah. And Florida State, it took the playoff committee longer than the public. But then it was the argument about who's going to be that 4th team. But we got 3 teams that we know are going to give us a hell of a product. This year, it's, man, you want to put in ink what you think the prediction's going to be?
it's
Who
very.
do you think the 4 are going to be?
Right. I mean, if you look at this right now, I'm gonna still say that Clemson is gonna get in.
Win out and they're in, no problem. But they got no strikes left.
No, I mean that is a problem. But if you want to go through and look at this list, it's it's something because it's hard to find. Now, obviously, if Penn State keeps winning, and they have a bona fide star, I mean, George is gonna, but Georgia and Alabama play one another.
Right.
That's the big talking point now, obviously, is if they met in the SEC championship and they were both undefeated, would the loser still be in the college football playoff? And the way that things are going, you could say yes.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to put 2 Big Ten teams into the Final Four this year. So Penn State, Ohio State is a really important
Well, right
game.
now everybody is doing the lobbying thing, right? You've got the Big Ten saying we could get 2 in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that, but
the Big 12 was looking really good if you go by metrics and adjusted, all kinds of numbers and FPI rankings, and I rolled my eyes at that too. But then Oklahoma looks wholly average, and we'll see what Oklahoma State does against Texas this weekend. But you would think you're not going to put 2 teams from that conference in, clearly.
Well, TCU's undefeated.
Well, yeah, I know, but
I'm just telling you. I mean, they're 6-0 and they're undefeated. And
Yep. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. I know that's what
By the way, they're going to be 7-0 because they're playing Kansas.
They are, but the Herb Street thing every year. It's like TCU and UCLA every year. He loves the 2 of them.
I think TCU brings a little bit more weight to that discussion than
It does,
UCLA does.
but,
I mean, TCU ain't out here going 500 every year the way UCLA does. You know, I mean, this is. Listen, Georgia's my squad in there with Alabama right now. After that, it's a bunch of arguments, but it's Penn State. And then from there, this is why people will point to the fact that they think the Big Ten can get 2 in, because if Penn State's going to get in, there's still a thought that Ohio State will climb their way back in. Ohio State has that loss, but it's a loss to Oklahoma, who's a top 15 team, and Ohio State could win out. There it is.
And Urban Meyer's right back in the dance again. Think he'll score in the playoff if they make it
Well,
this year?
you get frustrated, but, Clemson loses to Syracuse, and they're 6-1 in the top 10.
And they're fine. Again, that's overreaction this
Well,
week.
but I would say this. Here's where they're not fine. Ohio State, if they only have 1 loss, is going to get in over Clemson because Ohio State's loss is to Oklahoma, not Syracuse.
Yes, I would agree with that, but I don't think it's going to come down to, the Big Ten and the ACC for the final spot in the dance. Clemson's biggest concern is get your quarterback back. That's their biggest concern. Beyond that, they still control their own destiny for me. I don't think it's man, you're going to squeeze out a Pac-12 team the way that conference has performed
Well,
this
and
year.
there's always the chance that Notre Dame squeezes somebody out because they have the 1 loss, yes, but it's a 1-point loss to a great Georgia team, and they've gone on and their schedule's insane.
Right, if they
So
make a statement this weekend against Southern Cal that everybody overvalues, but sure.
Well, I mean, just their schedule in general, though, I would give them the credit that they deserve. If they keep winning games with that schedule,
They'll have beaten NC State as well.
Yeah,
yes,
man,
which apparently is a big win these days.
You like how we just dismissed NC State's chances of continuing to play well?
We shouldn't, I suppose.
How angry are they going to be if they don't get in because they lost to sorry-ass South Carolina in a game which they outgained them by 250 yards?
Well, I think, the best friend to NC State, obviously, is that
they got to beat Clemson.
Sure, of course, and that's great.
Yeah.
And they would beat Notre Dame, too, in theory, which would be also hard to ignore.
If they somehow conclude all of this with 1 loss, they should be in.
Yeah. Well, their best friend also is that Virginia Tech or Miami decides who the king is going to be, and then they don't lose another Coastal game that's unexpected. So you have a 1-loss Coastal champion.
We're just at that point in the season, is my point, where we now begin to turn our attention to this discussion, which we ordinarily ignore. Ordinarily.
I didn't drop that in last time.
No, you got to.
Oh, no.
Did you see somebody wrote it in when we were on the headlines? Ordinarily, we don't start that discussion, Tom, but ordinarily, we're actually involved in some other things.
Should have done that Tuesday after the man cave and seen how it went over.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Supercenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring the right people for your growing business. That means finding the right candidates with a powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple. And simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is a family-friendly restaurant serving high-quality fresh seafood at a great value since 1986. Wharf Casual Seafood's philosophy is that seafood can be affordable, fast, and top-notch quality all at the same time. No one brings families together like Wharf Casual Seafood. Visit their Tallahassee locations on Bannerman Crossing and the newly opened Mahan location at the Costco shopping area. Open 7 days a week. Visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
What am I going to do about Joey? He's staying so overwhelmed with homework, assignments, and tests. He's working so hard, but I don't know how to help.
Hi, I'm Lance Davis. Let Engaged Academics help your child learn how to cope with the stresses of academics. Visit engagedacademics.org for more information. That's engagedacademics.org.
At the Home Depot, we know communities are more than bricks and mortar. They're people, and we're part of your community too. So in the wake of Hurricane Irma, we're here to help. We have essential items in the front of the store, making it easy for you to get what you need, quickly. We're doing our best to keep those supplies in stock. And of course, we're maintaining the same everyday low prices. Because when our community needs us, the Home Depot is here to help.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac is back at it, supporting the High School Scholar Athlete of the Month on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Listen every Wednesday to hear our monthly winners. Check them out at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMCCadillac.com. The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, Tixx. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Open practice today for Florida State. Basketball. Wide open practice. Come on in.
That was nicely done.
Let's let everybody watch us play some basketball. Are we turning the corner? If you lose this week, without question, get ready to be angry with your afternoon host. We lose to Louisville and go to 2-4. We're going to be doing a whole lot of, hey, college basketball is coming up soon, kids.
I already have it penciled in that we're going to do a couple of Tampa Bay Lightning hours. Doesn't that sound fun?
I'm going to do a show about the sun. I mean, it's just going to be like whatever we want. It could be anything. Facts about the sun.
Camoron Borealis. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah, man, it's that would be something. Over under 80 yards receiving, Auden Tate. Going over there, kiddo. Going over. Feeling good about it.
Did you set the number or was that asked to you?
I set it.
Okay.
I set it at 80 and I'm going over 80.
Okay. Over under 67 yards receiving for Nooney Murray.
Over.
Over under a long reception for Nooney Murray of 40 yards.
Over.
See, yeah, that's why I was checking. You think he's going to have a big play now?
Yeah, I do. I think he'll have a big play. His biggest play.
Over under 4 receptions for Ryan Izzo.
Under.
Damn it, man. That poor kid.
He'll get 2, 3, and we're all tap dancing.
All right. Most carries for Florida State in this game. Jaquez Patrick, Cam Akers.
Cam Akers.
Really? You think he'll have more totes?
By 2.
By 2 totes?
By 2 totes. I think Cam Akers, by the way, 71 carries, 379 yards, 5.3 yards per run. Nearly 100 yards per game in his young career. Hey, man, keep on keeping on. This is starting to become fun. I love that. And, going back to your talking point, when the train came off the tracks, we said, all right, what's left to play for? Well, let's identify the studs. Let's identify the guys that will get this thing back together next year. Let's identify the guys you can rely on in a pinch that going into the games next year that are bona fide superstars. And Cam is that, and James Blackman, I think, is emerging. And, by the way, Blackman's numbers on the year, nearly 800 yards passing, 799. So let's put it at 800, 5 touchdowns, 4 picks, averaging just a shade under 160 yards a game. That number should continue to go up. I would think certainly that will go up this weekend. It's odd to project because, well, it's difficult. First of all, you can kind of pick your methodology here because obviously Louisville's given up a lot of both. So I can see where you'd be of the mindset that, hey, man, you can throw it around the lot against Louisville's defense, or you can line up and run it. And if you choose to run it, you're sticking with what we've noticed is the identity of this team, and the right one.
Over under 1.5 sacks this weekend for the Florida State defensive line. Well, defense in general.
I find that whole situation frustrating as is. I mean, we really just don't create a lot of pressure on the quarterback. We don't get tackles for loss. We don't get sacks. So, you go before the season, and Brian Burns had talked about wanting to lead the conference in sacks, and I still don't think he has one. So we're at a place now where you just don't see Florida State do that. But at the same time, oddly, perhaps Lamar's penchant for holding on to the ball and running around back there leads you to see an over on that number. I'll go with 2. I'll go with 2 this weekend.
Here's a quick question, because he was the number 1 player in the country according to many outlets. Level of satisfaction with Derwin James' play so far this season?
Well, I'm so upset with the way that we've been executing the defense, calling the defense, that it's hard for me to assess Derwin James' play. I don't know what they're asking him to do, and I'm confused oftentimes by what I'm seeing in the secondary when I go back and watch the games. I talk about the concepts not being married to what you're doing up front, what you're doing on the back end, or the way that we play. When we're in a zone, for example, the way we play that is not any method I ever learned or have recognized in other teams. So there's inconsistencies there, and I can't always tell who's at play, who's at fault, whether that's the coach or the player or a mixture of both. So Derwin has obviously not had the splash on the season that we anticipated, but I don't know to blame him. I mean, he's a freak player. I said all along that one of the frustrations is going to be when he's a freak player in the NFL, we're going to be saying, man, we did not get out of that kid what his talents suggested we should have. And when you've got that kind of player, really he's one of those guys you identify and say, this is the frustration we currently feel with Charles Kelly, is that, hey, Kelly's, I've talked about his knowledge of the game without question, but underutilizing supreme athletes like that and kind of seeing the confusion with guys like McFadden and others that are going to be playing big-time football in the NFL leads you to believe that there's a disconnect, and that is really, really aggravating. So, I mean, I'm disappointed, but I don't know that it's his fault. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Welcome. Wow, this is great. E+.
E+? Is that like A+?
It's better. The E stands for easy.
Easy Plus?
Yep, easy ways to save energy, water, and money from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities. The City of Tallahassee Utilities has created easy ways to monitor your account with E+ online. We can pay online, we can check our balance online, compare usage history online, and even take a free online energy audit.
And I see the City of Tallahassee Utilities has created a new smart bill. Once we enroll, we do everything online. Billing, paying, everything. What a time saver. Not to mention saving energy, water, and money.
And when we download the City of Tallahassee Utilities Digitally smartphone app, we can do everything on our phone. Pretty incredible.
Plus, there are new authorized payment locations, like some local gas stations, grocery stores, other city departments, and more.
We can even go to the Renaissance Center at 435 North Macomb Street to pay our bill.
Wow. The E really does stand for easy, doesn't it?
It sure does. E+ from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. Your own utilities.
Each morning before you wake, you dream of breakfast like Mom used to make. Eggs, bacon, potatoes too. Can't wait to eat all this amazing food. Then the alarm bell rings and no one's cooking you anything. Real life is hard when your morning is hell. Have breakfast with a fried egg shell.
Introducing the new Naked Egg Taco. Crispy bacon, seasoned potatoes, and melty cheese wrapped in a fried egg shell. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, introducing Nissan's Express Service.
Express Service means oil changes in 45 minutes or less.
With no appointment necessary. Here's how it works. When you come to Kraft Nissan for an oil change, you're greeted by a dedicated Express Service advisor. Sign the advisor's iPad and have a seat in our waiting room. A team of 2 lube technicians will immediately take your car directly to service and complete the oil change. And remember, Kraft Nissan services all makes and models. We sell tires for less. Compare us to the box stores and compare us to the tire stores. We'll beat their price. Plus, new tires tires come with free rotations for the life of the tires. We also have our Value Advantage line of parts that are priced to compete with aftermarket and parts stores, but still have full Nissan factory warranty. So competitively priced that Kraft Nissan will give you a 30-day price match guarantee in writing. And we offer the Kraft Nissan service card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299.
So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by.
Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
It's time for the 11th annual Brewfest. Over 200 beer varieties and unlimited sampling presented by the Tallahassee Sunrise Rotary Club. Come sample varieties of craft beer to learn what you like. Event is October the 28th from 5 to 8 p.m. held at the Antique Car Museum. General admission is $39 with food available for purchase. VIPs have exclusive access from 4 to 5 p.m. All net proceeds go to charity. Brewfest sells out quickly, so get your tickets now. Visit the Facebook page or brewfesttallahassee.com for event details and ticketing information.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautowworld.com.
A lot of time doing laundry if they're smart. It was so easy. I had to do it. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Go ahead and cue up Wash Around the Clock, my friend.
Jeff, what's your plan with all of this laundry?
Not my job.
Excuse me, get off the couch already.
Wash Around the Clock's got it. More watching, less washing.
Ooh. Best husband ever.
It's true. We do divvy up the laundry. Not for me to wash or her to wash or the kids to wash. They certainly don't. But rather for my friends at Wash Around the Clock to wash. TallahasseeLaundry.com. Go there and discover easy laundry, my friends. Oh, yes. Sign up now. You want to sign up for this service. You point, you click, you clean, and what you don't do is laundry. They do it. They pick it up. They deliver it. It's at your home or your office. Ultimate convenience. And dry cleaning to boot.
Well, yeah, dry cleaning. They fold everything for you nice and neat. And now there are new bells and whistles this week. We are integrated into the electronic system, and we have the laundry bags. And they're giant
They're
bags.
giant bags. You can stuff everything. I mean, there's no excuse. Folks, you got to do it. And there are all kinds of special offers. If you go to the website and click on it, you'll see the TallahasseeLaundry.com easy laundry section there. But obviously you hear the standard commercial that I do for Wash Around the Clock. I'm not kidding, by the way. You listen. I hope we've been able to show you this over the course of the years, that anything that I endorse, I use. For example, and I'm not trying to mix commercials, but you guys know I drive a Pathfinder for my friend Chris Kraft at Kraft Nissan. I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't utilize the service or if I didn't have the car or didn't go to eat at a certain place. I don't do that. That's not really what we're about. When I was approached about this, I did want to use the service first, and I asked if Tom and I could make sure that we use the service since we were both going to be talking about it, because I want to be able to tell you, honestly, how it works. And how it works is so simple, and what it does is save you time. I mean, it does, and we're all busy people. I got it. My life's no more busy than yours. I got it, but especially if you're married with kids or you just run around a lot and you're busy, the time you spend washing, drying, and folding laundry is time that could be better utilized. We all know this. And with the Wash Around the Clock family and the Easy Laundry system, they come and pick it up, whether it's twice a week, whether it's once a week, whether it's once every other week. I mean, they got different plans for you. You can utilize and get that drop-off service going, and you don't have to worry about laundry anymore. Just remove that burden from your life. It's great. Tom uses it as well.
I do indeed, sir. And it is quite easy, and this is the busy season for me. And I can tell you that in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I haven't used the service because I've been traveling in and out of town. And so to me, we had a little bit of a stack up of laundry this week.
Yeah.
We kept the necessities going, but, the linens, the towels, and some of the non-necessary clothes. but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just that bag is massive. And one-stop shop, Tuesday, Friday. That's going to be our plan from here on out. We're Tuesday, Friday people.
Some people are Monday, Thursday people.
Right. You can schedule it however you want. That's the best part of this whole thing. It's one fewer thing you have to think about every week.
TallahasseeLaundry.com. It's our friends at Wash Around the Clock. Good stuff. And they get the little app going now, too. It's all good. All right, let's continue to talk here. Let's talk about something that I'm beginning to think. And again, later in the program, Mark Ennis is going to join us. We'll talk some Louisville football and where they're at right now. I have been astounded. During the break time, I was looking at the Vegas lines because obviously I made my Redemption Thursday picks. You can find them online, ESPN Tallahassee, and go look at those right now, and we'll talk more about them later. But I wanted to see a couple of other lines, and as I did that, I thought, let me check again this Florida State line because I didn't include it in my games this week. And in doing that, I noticed that, okay, first of all, I was shocked that Florida State opened as 7.5-point favorite, but it's sustained at 7. This tells me that for all the problems we think we have going on right now at Florida State and some of the frustrations that have emerged during the course of the season, Vegas, at the very least, and many of the people making the wagers on this game think that Louisville is in complete disarray. For that number to stay that way, to have that not drop, I'm really surprised.
Well, to me, this is a game that you can't touch with a 10-foot pole, though, when it comes to – and this is why it's not in your wagers. I understand that. But Florida State could win this game by a couple of scores, or Louisville could win this game by a couple of scores. And I don't think either result would be
all that surprising.
Because what's in them is the ability to play top 15 football. What's in us is the ability to play top 15 football, and you just don't know where each team's head is at. The fact that it's here is a good thing for Florida State. A noon kick, I'm not sure it's great for either team. But then also the result, the way it happened last year, again, I think gives Florida State a mental edge where both teams, if they didn't have history, you might wonder and say on Saturday, I don't know what team's going to show up on either sideline. I would think the pride on the sideline at Florida State is going to kick in and motivate them throughout this week. Of course, it shouldn't be something like that motivates you as a team, but how could it not from last year to this year?
I also think that Cam Akers is going to have 150 yards bare minimum in this game, and I think Jaquez Patrick will join him in the 100-yard club. I think Florida State is set up to run the ball all day long in this matchup, and I think it works in favor of what they were already trying to establish. Jimbo has clearly decided to go the route of running the football, have that be your identity, take pressure off your young quarterback, your true freshman quarterback. James is playing well, but you don't want to put the game on him. And I know Louisville's secondary has been shaky, but really, frankly, Louisville's defense on the whole has been shaky. The idea that you can line up and run the football here the way BC just did to them, I think, is absolutely the way to go. And I think it adds another dimension to your team that, we have these conversations every so often about what is a team's identity, and have you been able to really kind of look into what Florida State is attempting to do and become, and do you think it's the right thing? And we debate these things all the time. No doubt the right decision is to turn the ball over to the talent of Cam Akers, to the toughness of Cam Akers and Jaquez Patrick. The fact that you have so much talent there, Amir Rasul sometimes as well. The fact that you can get your tight end involved in the run game and then off a play action, find him in the middle of the field as your quarterback gets more comfortable. As you begin to kind of simplify what you're doing, maybe run, again, a very simple but a little bit faster offense. You can run the ball with some tempo. I think you've then found out who you are, and I think it travels. Running the football travels. And when offensive linemen line up and they get the opportunity to road grade, they love it. And I think that's your best chance down the line to win some of these games that right now we look at and say, not so sure. Obviously, that includes the Clemson game.
Well, it keeps your quarterback upright for longer, too. If your run-pass splits or heavy run 60-40, at the game, the scoring situation doesn't dictate that you have to throw the ball more than running the ball, then, yeah, that helps the development of your quarterback. I was one that said a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was something along the lines of, man, against Wake, I'd like to see him air the ball out. Let's find out what we got in this kid. But if you're not going to block consistently, and if you look at some of the advanced metrics, Pro Football Focus for college football, the pressure rate on James Blackman is greater than that by a large margin so far than the pressure rate on DeAndre Francois last year. And think about that in your head. Because Francois was under duress an awful lot last season.
Oh, without question.
Some of his own doing, but much not of his own doing. So if Blackman and that offense can't consistently protect him, man, this is the best ailment. This is the best, this is the best cure for your ailment. And I just wonder, on the other side of the argument, do you want more possessions or fewer possessions if you think that offense is in disarray for Louisville? Because if you're running the football and controlling the clock, you're still guaranteeing a close game with an explosive player on the other side.
Well, you are if you believe you just can't get stops even with limited possessions for Louisville. I mean,
that's been the talking point this week largely, though. From what I've heard and read around the Tallahassee beat, it's this game's going to be in the 30s. I don't know how you hold Louisville down, our defense against their offense. I mean, I don't know that it bears it out that the defense is as bad as it was last year. In fact, I don't believe that to be the case at all. But it just seems to me that the popular talking point, at least down here in Tallahassee, is, you better score in the mid-30s if you expect to win this game. I mean, I don't know that game's going to actually play out quite like that on Saturday.
You're looking at 27-21 type game?
Well, if we're going to run the ball like we did this past weekend, there's 9 possessions for Florida State in that game.
That was crazy. I don't think the clock will be run quite like that. I mean, the ball rarely touched the ground in that game, and that was a testament to the efficiency with which, obviously, Blackman threw the football.
Well, and the question is, I think the counter question is, well, how many explosive runs are you going to have in this game? How many 20-plus runs are you going to have? Because there weren't a whole lot of those. I mean, Cam ices it finally with a long run in the fourth. But, I mean, how many of those can you expect against Louisville? Because that, again, would create more possessions. I think this defense is better than people give it credit for. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's even close to expectations. No. But it's not the sieve that was last year. I think we can also agree on that.
I think we do agree on that. I am curious. Cam Akers, when we talk about running the football and limiting possessions, and that's why these games continue to be close and lack of tempo and all that stuff, Cam has amassed nearly 400 yards rushing already. It is a Florida State record for a freshman through 5 games. I think by season's end, we will be celebrating the fact that young man said yes to Florida State, if we're not already. But, I mean, really celebrating what he's going to be. I think we already know the special combination of speed, power. He doesn't have the same vision right now at this point in his career, but he's a true freshman as Dalvin Cook, and that's fine. He leaves some yards on the table, but he's getting it. He's starting to get it. I think after this game, he'll again be the talking point. And to your point about this game being a little bit lower scoring, well, okay, if I think they're going to run the ball heavily, then the clock's going to get chewed up and there will be fewer possessions. I think you just got to get a couple of stops and get out to a lead here and dictate terms. It's been very odd to watch Louisville's game plan, and we'll talk to Mark Ennis about this next hour, but they aren't running the football with him the way that they did a year ago. And I'll ask him, because I am curious, do you think this has anything to do with is it a purposeful decision? Are they intending to try to showcase him as a passer? Coaches do this. I think it's a disservice to the school that they're hired to win games for, but coaches a lot of times don't look at it that way. They'll do it because they say, if I can turn this kid into a more NFL-ready player, then what happens in recruiting benefits the program long term. And if I take a project who Florida State didn't recruit as a quarterback, and hence the reason he went to Louisville, and turn him into a legitimate quarterback, that is to say a guy that can consistently beat you from the pocket and not just utilize his legs as a weapon, then that'll help me long term. If you have a special athlete and runner that like he is, then you'd be a fool not to run him. And I think Louisville fans, at least the ones that have reached out to me this week, have been infinitely frustrated with the fact that they know they have this guy, this weapon, this guy who just destroyed Florida State a year ago, amongst many others, with his legs. And you won't run him the way that you did a year ago. Well, then you deserve to have what's happened, which is what some people think is a team checking out, not necessarily motivated. And the frustration has emerged now as the losses mount.
Which brings us back to the volatility of this game from a wagering standpoint.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to touch it.
Because what if they are at wit's end and they say, okay, kid, do what you did last year. Let's forget the rest. The season's already in a bad place. But,
I would, wouldn't
right.
you?
Well,
just throw on the film from a year ago.
Exactly. And you also look at, this team and you say, if you don't play up to some kind of level, you can get beat. I don't care what the scores say. That's a lot of talent on the other sideline. And they need a get-right game, really big at home. They need something. They need something to rally around moving forward.
Tom Lang, are you suggesting we're going to blow Louisville out?
Hell no.
Okay.
No. I've learned my lesson last year on that one.
I wanted to see if you'd get where I was going.
No, I knew where you're going.
Yeah.
What I am saying is the fear of being blown out after losing to Boston College may force, a change in philosophy on offense.
In that case, we'll be cursing Steve Adazio. No, you didn't need to showcase what they ought to be doing,
exactly
Steve.
right.
Let them just cruise along. Fool's gold. Damn it, man. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
The Costco shopping area. Open 7 days a week. Visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
Hey, Fido!
Yes, bud?
Hey, have you heard about that Hair of the Dog sports bar?
Yeah, it's all everyone's been barking about. It's Midtown's #1 sports bar with over 50 TVs, burgers, loaded nachos and wings, and a massive bar. Plus, Hair of the Dog is human-friendly, but you gotta keep them on a leash.
Sounds like a great place to watch those human teams play catch.
You mean football?
Hair of the Dog Sports Bar, Midtown, North Monroe behind Brugger's. Best drink prices and juiciest burgers in town.
Sexy French poodles, welcome.
New styles are in. You deserve to save more. And starting on Friday, we've got doorbusters galore. Goodies is having a one-day sale. It goes all day Friday through Saturday, and you can score big doorbusters for the whole family. Like 60% off men's, women's, and kids' styles. 60% off fine jewelry, handbags, and home. And buy one, get one free shoes, too. Get ready to save in style. Our one-day sale starts Friday. Goodies. What will new bring out in you? Goodies is part of our Stage family. Offer exclusions apply.
Tee it up at the Edwin Watts Golf Demo Day this Friday from noon till 5 at Killearn Country Club and get custom fit by factory reps from Callaway, Ping, TaylorMade, Titleist, Wilson, Cleveland, Srixon, Bushnell, and Mizuno. Demo Day specials include $20 off fairways and hybrids $199 and up, $30 off drivers $299 and up, and $75 off iron sets $699 and up. Some manufacturer restrictions may apply. It's the Edwin Watts Golf Demo Day this Friday from noon to 5 at Killearn Country Club. Edwin Watts, home of the 90-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Yesterday I told you about State Worker Wednesday, and you all cheered. Today it's going to be a band. Go ahead and cue it up, good sir. It's that time.
Count 'em up, pour 'em out.
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
There it is. It's Beer 30, brought to you by the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
All right, our friends at the 7th Hill Tap Room doing it up. We got a live band tonight. You know, I should have. It would have been probably more informative had I bothered to look up. I don't know who's playing tonight. I apologize for that, but you can find it on their website.
That's right. Well, the Seventh Hill Taproom Facebook page is always updated. But
hey, don't forget the cup, Tom.
The Seventh Hill Cup Club, well, that's Monday through Wednesdays from 7 p.m. to close. You get $1 off all drafts from 7 p.m. to close for spending $10 one time only on a shiny green Seventh Hill Cup
Shiny
cup. And you get that $1 off all drafts on Saturdays. I feel like I should tell you about Sundays, too. We never really do talk about Sundays for NFL. It's half off all drafts all day. Half
At
off.
the Seventh Hill?
At the Seventh Hill Taproom. That's correct.
Doing some things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what I think is interesting? I find it absolutely fascinating right now in the National Football League, and in particular with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Today we learned Jameis is probably going to play. We'll see. I mean, he wants to, right?
Yeah, he wants to. Yeah, he's going to throw today. Yeah.
He's got a bad shoulder, and it seems to me that from what we can tell, that's been going on for some time now, not just the Arizona game, which is very, very interesting. But anyhow, having said that, in my effort to kind of glean some information about why Dirk Cutter would have said what he said this week, which was that Jameis would be medically cleared, and he kind of left it out there as if to suggest that if he didn't play, that maybe Jameis wasn't being tough or whatever that might imply. That bothered me, by the way. It's not the first time he's kind of taken a shot, maybe an unintended shot, but a shot nonetheless at Jameis. And I'm, 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers back to you, Dirk, has been going on for a while now on the show. Between Chris Mortensen saying about the offensive game plan and questions about the offensive game plan against New England, and a couple of other things that I've read and heard. These are people, Lombardi, who's very connected, obviously. He has said at one point on his blog for The Ringer, he mentioned that in certain NFL circles, people are looking at the Buccaneers' job.
Yeah, that it might be on the line this season, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what does that tell you? It tells you that the Glazers don't have a lot of faith in what Dirk Cutter's doing.
Well, yeah, and what I would say to that, too, is the evidence is overwhelming that the message isn't consistently getting where it needs to get.
Well, because they're talk about not having good practices.
Well, they're not practicing well. And then you look at the effort on Sunday in Arizona.
That was crazy.
You got extra time to prepare for that game.
And you know what I hate about that, though? And I get it, and it could be true, but it can also be necessary. Yeah, you become the organization that fires a coach every 2 years, and then people don't take you seriously, and they laugh at the instability, and they say, this is why you have such a piss-poor result every year. Well, okay, maybe, but, it's like all those years when Matt Millen kept screwing up the draft, and they would draft a receiver, and the receiver wouldn't pan out. It didn't mean you didn't need a receiver. The next year, you needed a receiver. You realize at some point you got to keep doing it until you get it right. They eventually did, but the point is, okay, Lovey had to go. The evidence was overwhelming. It was a terrible situation, and so they fired him, and that was the right move. And then to try to make the transition easier, they kept Dirk Cutter because Dirk did okay as an OC with Jameis Winston. They thought that would be the seamless way to go. But things aren't working all that well. If they begin to regress, you got to seriously consider letting him go.
Well, it's an incomplete grade for regression on the defense just because it's been so hurt. At each level, there have been times where Brent Grimes has been out and or playing hurt, and then obviously the linebacker situation has been dire because you've got, game changers. It's still fine. The play was adequate to pretty good with Beckwith, but you got game changers in Quan Alexander and Levante David that you could really use. And then to me, the thing I look at is the offense. It doesn't have to be that difficult. The weapons have increased from year to year, so the production should increase from year to year.
Or at least remain stable.
Yes, but it's inconsistent. It's woefully inconsistent. And then you go from 6-10 to 9-7, and playoffs are the expectation this year. Now, we've still got 11 games to play. And
a big one on Sunday against Buffalo, because if you're going to salvage anything, you kind of have to win this one.
Well, exactly right. This is a huge game because what games are you going to steal that you didn't expect before? Now, the Green Bay football game this year looks a little bit easier than it did.
Different.
A Sunday at Lambeau in December with Aaron Rodgers doesn't look nearly as attractive
I
as
had
one
already
with
written down automatic loss.
Brett Hundley, their quarterback.
That's
so,
right.
Things are going to change, and the NFL is quite fluid, as we see from week to week, for any number of teams. But at the same time, when expectations are playoff or bust, and you get all these extra weapons for Winston, and the offense still isn't producing, well, I mean, your head coach is your offensive play caller.
Well, and also we've had this situation with him where he coaches scared. He screws up situations.
Consistently screws that up, by the way. That's not just like one game out of 3 you go, whoa, what are you doing? No, quite often. I mean, even go back to the 1st and goal call, the half-yard line against the Giants, and you call a toss pitch to the weak side, to the short side of the field. I mean, that's just asinine. And you know what he said about a week later? They asked him about when we succeeded on 3rd and 1, goal to go against New England, and Doug Martin right up the middle, touchdown. He said, yeah, well, going back to that New York one, we expected them to be in a different defense than they were in. And looking back on it, we should have changed what we did there, but we didn't change what we did there. Meaning, again, I was surprised by what happened. You can't be surprised by what happened as the head coach and the play caller. He even said it against New England. You know, they played a lot of man before this game, but they played a lot of zone, and we were expecting to see more man. Dude, you're the head freaking coach. You got to have plans for every possible thing the other team throws at you. It's crazy.
Bizarre to me that he would admit those things. Can we just point that out, too? That is a strange thing for a head coach and offensive play caller to admit. To come out and say, I didn't expect them to give us that look. What does it just say you do here? I mean, that's crazy, right? I mean, you usually get kudos from me for a level of honesty that we seldom see from coaches at press conferences. But in this case, on the one hand, I guess I'll say thanks for being honest. And why didn't you know?
Well, and that's again.
You know what I mean?
It's a two-sided coin. All coins are two-sided. But in this instance, you're happy with the transparency because watching those press conferences isn't an exercise in 15 minutes of cliches.
Right.
Thanks
for being honest. But, by the way, that doesn't excuse you for not knowing.
Right. So if you practice poorly or at least inconsistently, but more likely you're not practicing well, and then you're telling me through several instances of saying, well, I didn't expect them to do this. We expected to see more of that.
We were surprised they did.
Well, you're telling me that your game plan is an absolute then? It's not something that you can adjust with on the fly? Do we not know enough offensive principles? I mean, do we not install? Of course they do. The answer is of course they do. But why is it that this thing hinders us to score in the mid-teens, in the mid-20s, when this offense is a machine, at least in theory and on paper? And I get it. The quarterback's got to execute too because he's been woefully inconsistent at times this season. But it should be an offense that scores in the upper 20s to lower 30s if it has the number of possessions to do so each week. That's the whole point of getting all these guys right.
Oh, man. I don't know. This is so exhausting. Why can't my two football teams run in some semblance of smooth transition from week to week? And, it's just...
Right, the defense you're afraid of at any given moment on Saturday and Sunday, although the one on Saturday is way more talented than the one on Sunday against the competition. And then both offenses are laborious. They don't snap the ball until there's a second left in the play clock, and it takes 12 plays to get down the field.
Think about this, by the way. You go back to the beginning of the season, the Bucs defense against Jordan Howard, who's a legitimate upper-tier back.
Good player.
Yeah, upper-tier back in the NFL. He had 7 yards rushing in the game against the Bucs on 9 carries. 7. He didn't do anything. And you thought, okay, well, we've got this part worked out. Now, we may not have a pass rush yet. It's going to be a problem, but we're stopping the run.
Dude,
no, man.
Even Dalvin was averaging under 3 yards a carry before the time of possession.
They were shutting it down. They were shutting it down.
Were, yes.
And then you had what happened last week with Adrian Peterson, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, 26 carries, like he's 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Final hour coming up. Mark Ennis going to join us, covers Louisville, and that'll be fun. We'll have a good conversation with him about what they are or aren't. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind, tough like a gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Dollars in cash back and savings, only from Mahindra.
North Florida and South Georgia's authorized Mahindra dealer is TNT Super Center, US 19 South in Thomasville, and at TNTSuperCenter.com.
Offer with approved credit. See dealer for details. Program restrictions may apply.
If you've been suffering from a chronic illness and prescription drugs aren't working, it's time to seek alternative treatment. Dr. Joe Dorn provides evaluations and ordering of natural products for patients who qualify under the new Amendment 2 law. To make an appointment with Dr. Dorn or for a free e-visit, go to mmtcfl.com. That's mmtcfl.com. Visit Dr. Dorn at our Tallahassee MMT clinic on Capitol Circle Northeast, next to the Cake Shop. It's time to stop suffering and seek affordable and compassionate care.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautowworld.com.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. Happy Redemption Thursday, everybody. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. Go there, listen live via the streaming. It's free always. You don't have to miss anything. But, hey, if you do miss something, we got you covered all 3 hours. It's going to be posted on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You know, while I was doing that, Tom, you should have yelled just like Mickey. You could have yelled, speed. Speed is what you need. Yeah, could have got on all in. Burgess Meredith. I always think about him eating stewed tomatoes out of a can. You wouldn't hurt an old man, would you? Eating stewed tomatoes out of a can. Sean Penn going,
yeah.
Nobody's going to hurt you for your money, old man.
Yeah, state of grace. Yeah.
That's just a great line. And he was so perfect at the end of his life. That's a role for him that he plays perfectly. You're like, oh, I hope Burgess isn't eating stewed tomatoes out of a can.
Hey, Rock, I liked you better when you was carrying buckets of spit.
Wagers, they're for charity. It's, if you will, my picks. I'd like to note, as I did last hour and in the first hour, that I didn't lose a single game last week in the picks. If you're wondering who's the guy that I need to turn to for guidance when it comes to gambling, you must say, wherever it is you are currently, maybe in the car or at your office, Jeff Cameron at the top of your lungs. It's okay. I will take great pride in those selections. That's what you do. Yeah, undefeated week last week. It's against the number. It's not some willy-nilly just pick a winner. It's against the number. That's what you do. And that said, the wagering gods, the sporting guys and gals of the world certainly are aware of this. That's they usually exact their revenge. Those buildings that are so big and beautiful in Vegas are there indeed for a reason. And it ain't people going 9-0-1. That's not why those are there. So I got it. I know. That's why you embrace and celebrate when you have a week like that for the ages. With each passing score, Tom, I was going, there's another one. There's another one. Whenever I get to 5, I go, okay, we're all right here. We're all right. But then you get to 6 and 7 and 8, and you're just starting to dance.
It's kind of like the signing day coverage of years past. Where
Right.
Got another one.
Got another one in right. Yeah. Another 5 star. Oh, got him. Nice. Naughty to the Knowles. There we go. Make it happen. I've got to find the big defensive tackle that people are wavering on currently that I will now project to go to Florida State and soon. We need that infusion of life and goodness and all that makes us feel well about the world when you're struggling.
Maybe whoever the new blood is, they have persuasive characteristics to them. Perhaps they can get on a plane, go visit someone's home, and tell them the truth. And maybe the truth will convince
the truth, huh?
Said prospect that Tallahassee is the place to come
Okay,
to.
I like it. That's good.
It's just the truth.
It's just the truth. Mark Ennis is host of The Drive on 93.9 The Ville, and he does a very good job of covering Louisville athletics. And I talk to him at the ACC kickoff. I do every year. Usually we share a beer or two and talk shop. And this year was no different. This year we sat around, and I'll bring this up when I talk to him on the show here in about 15 minutes or so. We talked about how much we both really, really, really like Steve Addazio. We didn't talk about it. I didn't bring up Petrino. He didn't bring up Jimbo. We just were like, man, I like that Steve Addazio. Me too. That's how the conversation began.
Flash forward to your interview with Steve Addazio. So what's it like to be at a third-rate program with third-rate expectations, and how do you temper those expectations?
Steve can handle a tough question, Tom. Steve can handle well. Yeah. At BC, we've got student athletes. They're the definition of student athletes, Jeff.
If you're 18 and you're trying to block in the trenches,
it's a losing.
You can't do it.
No. That's why we'll be better. That's right, Steve. And they just had a big win against Louisville.
To get to 6-6, that's a big one. You got one back. That Wake win, that they didn't get, they made up for it right there.
Pitt +8 versus Duke. Give me Pitt. Duke's in a death roll. It's happening. The spiral is happening into the side of a mountain.
It's like a dead fish flying through the air.
Oh, they got nothing over there right now. Georgia Tech -5.5 against Wake. I'll do it. I'll take Kansas getting a robust 39 against TCU.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
Yeah, they'll cover the 39. That's a ridiculous number. UCF and Scott Frost doing some things. Going to give 7 on the road against Navy? Give all 7 of those. Don't worry about it.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
Arizona switched quarterbacks, and in doing so, they found an athletic freak, and that kid's fun to watch. Arizona -3 against Cal on the road at Cal. Cal's number inflated because of their win. Give me Arizona to go on the road. I'll give the 3, baby.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
Taking way too many favorites this week. I admit it, but that's just, what I got in my heart right now. You got to go with it. Oklahoma State -7 against Texas in Austin. Sorry, folks in Austin. At least you can fall back on the fact that you live in a lovely city, but you're going to get stomped this weekend.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
And finally, Southern Cal is reeling. They don't have enough players. They get hurt a lot in the trenches currently on the defensive line. That's a problem with a Notre Dame team that likes to run the ball, is committed to it, and playing very good football. Didn't think I'd say it, but give me Notre Dame -3.5.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
NFL, I don't know. This one's a Tom Lang special. He convinced me to take Carolina against the Bears on the road.
See, the funny thing is, if Carolina wins the game and covers next week, you'll just count it as a win. It won't be the Tom Lang special.
What do you want me to do? I did do it. I'll say thank you on the air. I will.
You're setting this up in case it goes wrong because, I didn't lose that game. That was the Tom Lang
Tom's
special.
problem. Tom felt good about that game. No, actually, I did. I second-guessed it, but then I thought, Cam plays better on the road than he does at home. So, okay, I'll do that. I'll take Carolina. And then New Orleans is just on fire. And they're facing a Green Bay team that's crestfallen. I got to believe that Green Bay, and they're starting Hundley.
That's correct.
So, what are we doing?
Well, Todd McShay would bet you on this.
He thinks they found their next Aaron Rodgers behind Aaron Rodgers.
He did throw one good back shoulder fade, but that's about it last week.
We'll see. I like New Orleans giving points on the road. Listen, it's a funky year and that I'm just feeling it and that we're going to be in good shape together. If I win both the NFL games in which I took the road team as a favorite, you better jump on board these NFL picks with a hurry because that's crazy if that happens. I got all of them right last week, and it's the NFL, and I don't bet the NFL, and I got them all right. And if I get these 2 right, you're going to tell me that I'm 5-0 in 2 weeks in the NFL against the number? Like, that doesn't happen.
Well, it's doing some things is what it is.
It's doing some things, the kind of things that, man, makes me want to fly to Vegas, because then you got to.
Yeah, but the streak's over when you get on the plane.
I know. You can't deny this hot hand, Tom. You gotta play it while you can. It's a streak. So Mark Ennis, he's going to join us next. He, again, covers Louisville football. What an adventurous time he's got going on now as they fire everybody.
Well, can I ask, does he cover Louisville football?
Well, currently, no, right? Currently, he's covering Louisville basketball and a meltdown of a school in general.
One would think this time of year he would be covering Louisville football, given, they put themselves on the map last year. But it looks like they've taken themselves right off that same map.
Well, it's crazy, right? I mean, goodness gracious, you president, athletic director, Hall of Fame coach. Peace! The hell out of here, losers! It's they've got issues. We'll talk to Mark about that next.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest utility vehicles on earth. Like a Mahindra XTV 750S as low as $135 a month. Or get up to $3,450 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 3-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
We offer the Kraft Nissan Service Card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299.
So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by.
Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
Football season is in full swing, and so is AAA One Transmission. AAA One Transmission is locally owned and operated by Tim Pridgett, who's been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 37 years. Brakes, transmissions, electrical systems, tune-ups, and battery checks. No matter what ails your vehicle, AAA One Transmission can make your automobile healthy again. Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop it at 1023 North Monroe Street or call them at 222-2532.
Charlie is all over the place. He's so unorganized. How do I get him to be more responsible with his academics? I've tried everything.
Hi, I'm Lance Davis. Let Engaged Academics help your child learn how to work through these common issues. Visit engagedacademics.org for more information. That's engagedacademics.org.
College football programs know the importance of recruiting. If they want to compete at the highest level, they need to bring on the best talent, people who have the skills and drive to be a success. The same is true in business. Recruiting is vital. And with ZipRecruiter, you'll have a smarter and simpler way to assemble your own winning team. With just one click, you can post your job to over 100 job boards. Then ZipRecruiter's matching technology identifies relevant talent fast. 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within 24 hours. And your ZipRecruiter dashboard helps keep everything in one place. So it's easy to review and rank the candidates with the best experience. You'll be building a powerhouse program in no time. Choose the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter, official hiring partner of the Florida State Seminoles.
For your free trial, go to ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles. ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles. Once again, for a free trial, go to ZipRecruiter.com/GoNoles.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
The secret to better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Super Lube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles. The secret to even better gas mileage? Fuel Joules, a gas tank additive that'll increase your MPG by as much as 7%. And today, when you change your oil at Super Lube, you get a free bottle of Fuel Joules. Crystal Matthews and Amber Cossack own Solid Start, the company that makes Fuel Joules.
Every time we sell a bottle of Fuel Joules, a donation will be made to the National Breast Cancer Foundation.
In October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lubes. There's probably one right around the corner right now. Free offer valid without coupons or discounts.
You're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Hey, this will be fun. We get a chance to talk to my Louisville guy. That's kind of a generic way of describing Mark Ennis. You guys know him. Certainly if you're on Twitter, you do. And he's the host of The Drive on 93.9 The Ville. And contributes to Gridiron Now and is an expert on all things Louisville sports. And he joins us now to talk about this game, amongst other things. Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. And by the way, by you describing me as an expert on all things Louisville, that's now code for is a lawyer. Like, that's how I would describe what's going on up here lately.
Yeah, well, you're busy. Let's see. We both do the same job in the same time slot. And so on the one hand, congratulations, buddy. That's a good deal on a daily basis. And on the other hand, it's a nightmare, and it's the last thing you want to do every day.
Yeah, so the first day on the job, no joke, like when I was finally hired full-time, my first day, I come in on the morning show, and it's a big announcement, and I was just so stoked. I made all these notes. Like 10:15, they dropped the NCAA punishment for the Katina Powell stuff up here. It's like literally the first day I'm on the air, they received like the harshest penalties anybody's ever received in college basketball. Like, it's just been a zoo here for 4 straight months.
Well, all right. I mean, obviously, you look at that situation, all of the big-time players of Louisville basketball and Louisville sports to some degree. Certainly, you look at president, athletic director, coach, all that stuff. Okay, so they're all gone, and I guess in a weird way, there'll be time during basketball season for me to have you back on, and we can get into how that's going to affect Louisville basketball. But how has any of this affected Louisville football?
Yeah, it's hard to say if there's been any effect right now, because I think that the issues that the football teams had this year really are personnel-driven and scheme. It really doesn't seem like this is like a good team that's underachieving. It's just a team that's not that great, and they're not being coached that well. And I don't really know that the off-the-field stuff is really impacting this football team. The impact will be felt in the offseason when Bobby Petrino's got to figure out if he still wants to work for anybody other than Tom Jurich. And that will be something we'll have to watch come this fall. And right now, quite frankly, it's a little weird, but we all kind of joked around here a couple of weeks ago. There were worries that he might leave if Tom leaves. And now there are some people who are worried he might not leave. And like, totally different situation. But that will be something to watch, when the season's over. But I don't really see that it's a big issue on the field right now.
Mark, we ran into each other at the ACC kickoff, as we're wont to do, and we actually talked about, a shared affinity for Boston College's coach. Tom, we go back and think about Steve Addazio and how much we like him. And obviously that game just took place, and it left a lot of us from afar scratching our head. I guess big picture, what did you think this season was going to look like, and what, beyond the fact that Louisville's defense is bad, did the Boston College game signify?
Yeah, I think that, I thought this year would kind of look a lot like last year. That I thought that there would be games where they put up a ton of points and Lamar would do all sorts of crazy stuff, and they would probably drop one. You're like, geez, they shouldn't have lost that one. But that they play well in big games, maybe win one or two of them. And I thought 9-3, 10-2, beat somebody good, lose one that would drive you nuts, that sort of thing. And I think the disappointment's been they haven't looked good in any important game, and now it's even worse than that. And I think the Boston College game, it really showed that the bigger problem, especially on defense, is just personnel. The personnel's not good, and that's Bobby's fault. He's been here all 4 years. This is year 4. And that's the problem, is that it doesn't look like he really looks like he can fix it. And beyond just the personnel, it looked also like the guys just didn't care that much. And that's really, really worrisome, because that means they're tuning somebody out. That means that they're not motivated by what's still at stake, because Friday night, Clemson loses, all of a sudden everything's sort of back on the table. You just got the 2 losses, but you start thinking about the rest of the ACC Atlantic. You could still finish with a really good year, and they still went out and laid an egg, and that's really what's worrisome.
It's interesting, Mark. Some of your problems at Louisville their problems there seem to mirror some of our concerns at Florida State. The conversation here has centered around, you lose your starting quarterback for the year in the first game of the season. That's going to affect it. And then you have the hurricane come through and your schedule gets out of whack. But in truth, this team doesn't always look all that motivated, and we've begun to question whether or not some players have tuned out the message of Jimbo Fisher. Now, that's open for debate, but the fact that that's been a talking point is interesting. I noticed earlier this year that you had some criticisms of the way that Petrino and the offensive staff had game planned and called the game for Lamar. What are you seeing? I know when I look at the advanced metrics and some of these things, I note that you don't really run the ball all that much, and that it's become a pass-happy thing. So, I guess get a little bit more specific. What are your concerns with the way that he's calling the games?
Yeah, I think that what's really been jarring is they spent the whole spring and summer drilling into us that cover the team. We're going to do things that Bobby has traditionally liked to do. We're going to get under center some more. It's going to make life easier for Lamar. We're going to do the bootlegs and play action stuff that Bobby's really had lifelong success with. And we're going to run the ball, and we've got these running backs, and it's going to happen. And there was sort of a feeling that they just relied on Lamar too much last year. And they would say this, we want to take some of the workload off of him mentally, not have every run be a read, things like that. And then basically, I'm talking game 1 against Purdue, they just chucked it all. And there's yet to be a game this year where our running backs carried the ball 10 times in the first half. It's just the biggest spook, the tiniest little thing. They just abandon running the ball. And I'm talking abandon running it with Lamar. It's just throw. And Bobby has just panicked into this throw-happy thing, and it really is like a symbiotic thing with the defense. So they're not getting off the field. And he gets spooked about not getting the ball back and just presses with throws. And so because he doesn't think they're going to get the ball back nearly as often as they have in the past, he just chucks anything conservative or anything that he has to be patient with. And it becomes Lamar's Tom Brady, and we're going to sit him in the pocket and shuck and throw it 40 times a game. And that's dumb for everybody. But it's the way the year's going.
I think it's fascinating, Mark. And by the way, we're talking to Mark Ennis. Mark, I'm curious. You mentioned it just a moment ago. They don't They don't run Lamar like they did a year ago. And I know at the ACC kickoff, the questions centered around Lamar being more of a pocket passer. And this is what happens sometimes when you have a kid who wants to showcase skills for the NFL, and the games are different in the NFL than in college. And any mobile quarterback, and I'm not even using code here, I'm saying any mobile quarterback that runs a collegiate offense gets pigeonholed and told that, well, that won't work at the next level. And you see almost this onus being put on by the coaches trying to get him the opportunity to prove that he's a pocket passer or that he can be at the next level. Do you think any of that went into Bobby Petrino's thoughts?
I don't really think that Bobby cares a whole lot about Lamar as a pro prospect, except for maybe how it will play on the recruiting trail.
Right.
Of, 3 years here, and he's not any more ready for the pros. So I do think, even if he's not doing it because of Lamar's pro stock, they are still doing things like they would if that was what was motivating them. They're still just having him in the pocket, making reads, staying and throwing. Like, they're doing fewer option reads. They're doing fewer designed runs for him. So even if that's not why, the result is the same. And it's not like a winning strategy. And what's been so funny about it is there's been a handful of drives, like in close games or moments when games are close, where they're like, oh, this is like they've gone back to it. I'm like, you can see it, and it still works. He's still really dynamic, and why they just don't stick with it is really frustrating people because nobody really knows.
Mark, it is host of The Drive on 93.9. The Ville joins us now on the Jeff Cameron Show, and Mark, I'm curious as we look at this. Take us back, I guess, to the scene of the crime, if you will, the way Florida State fans view this. That game a year ago was so unique for a lot of reasons. I remember talking to you in the build-up to that game. I mean, this game was described as one of the biggest in Louisville football history, and everybody was locked in, and game day was going to be there, and Louisville attacked Florida State like it was the Super Bowl, and the Noles had no answer. It was an embarrassing performance for Florida State. It was a launching point for Louisville, and we thought, wow, this is going to be an interesting turn of events in this division because Florida State is no longer just solely dealing with Clemson. It looks like Louisville's invested. Bobby's got him playing. They got a dynamic quarterback. The fans are all in. And then you fast forward to where we are now, and obviously Florida State's not in a great place right now, but Louisville didn't take the next step. Louisville didn't become the program I thought they would. It doesn't mean they can't win this game on Saturday, but what has gone wrong beyond play calling? What is it that have they tuned him out? Where is Lamar's motivation? Talk to me, I guess, big picture. What's happened from that time to this time?
Yeah, oddly enough, I think that the biggest difference, from a year ago is on the other side of the ball. The defense has taken an enormous step backwards from late last year to this year, and I thought the biggest storyline coming out of last year's game, if it was Lamar and the way the offense scored 63 points and all that sort of thing, it was that they finally tackled Dalvin Cook. Like 2 years in a row, he had just crushed them, and they were they were dominant last year defensively. And so what you would get early in the year, at least, what you would get was games where it would be like Lamar, blitzkrieg, 4 plays, touchdown, 3 and out, touchdown, 3 and out, field goal. It'd
game
be 17-0. Yeah, it'd be 17-0 first quarter before you taking a breath, and they don't do that this year. They first of all have made mistakes on offense, and it's been a whole lot more field goals and punts on the opening drive, and then they don't get the ball back for 5 more minutes. And all of a sudden, we're bleeding well into the second quarter before you get the sense that the offense is kind of moving. So I really think the biggest dynamic is they have the previous recruiting classes to this year, because I think they did well this one that they just signed. They haven't really restocked that defense, and they made a bad coordinator hire, probably out of desperation, and it is just not near the quality. And so that mojo of sort of piling up points and getting quick stops, it's not there this year, and it's just a different animal. Teams are ready for it.
What's the talking point about this game been like this week? What is it? Are people focused on that at all with the Rick Pitino stuff, or is your primary talking point every day really more about the basketball program? And this game is kind of an afterthought at this point for both teams. Aren't what we thought they'd be. It's a noon kickoff. It's not the big matchup everybody expected it to be when the schedule came out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, Thursday, and I'm really debating even like broaching discussion on this game, which sounds ridiculous.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But like it's been Tom Jurich has been here 20 years, and Rick Pitino's been here 17 years. Like these guys are institutions around here, and they've both gone down in scandal abruptly. And it's sort of like, I'm not even saying they were the wrong decisions because I was fine with getting rid of both of them. But it's like a coup. Like everyone's just sort of taking stock of who's in leadership now because it's not been this way for 20 years. And then the football team, it's not so much that people are distracted. Like they're not a happy thought. It's not, people don't want to really look at them because they just gave up 45 points to Boston College. So they aren't even a good alternative to the bad news happening on the other side of the street. So it's an odd vibe up here. Everything is making everyone kind of surly, and I don't really know when that's going to end.
I've seen that before. I remember the end of the Bobby Bowden era, and it wasn't so much scandal, but it was a legend departing, and every day was less about what was going to happen on the field and more about, and this situation behind closed doors is untenable, and where are we going as a university and a program, and what's going to take place next, and how do you handle this, and who's in charge, and yeah, it's almost weird to do radio in that environment. It's also really, really exciting because every day you've got any number of angles you can choose. What is the temperature like there with the current athletic department situation? What are the fans saying?
Well, there's a lot of outrage. There's a lot of people who, are just kind of bottom liners who are like, look, man, this place used to be a commuter school, gravel parking lot, and we played in a minor league stadium for football. And now virtually everybody plays their postseason quality teams, and they play in a facility that's state-of-the-art. And Tom deserves a ton of credit for that, and he does. But there are people who got tired of there just being endless stories about shenanigans behind the scenes that nobody has any real info about, and it was constant. And then larger, university-wise, the board and the foundation which manages the endowment, they were just using it like an ATM. It's been a real mess around here. And, and media-wise, just speaking me personally, Tom was very comfortable, I don't know what the best word to use is, inserting himself into how he thought the media around here should behave. And so there's kind of this feeling out process that starts today with, like, how are we going to behave now that we kind of don't have to be afraid of the phone call? Because there's been a ton of that, and people are tired of it. And I imagine that once everyone feels safe, there's going to be some unloading around here. It's just going to be very different, very different.
Wow, and with that many years of walking around on eggshells, we both know, Mark, media members wait for opportunities if given that chance, and maybe not certainly to make things up, but everybody's got info on anybody who's been around as long as Tom had been around, and if he was that way with the press, there will be a lot of guys all too happy to write that story.
Oh yeah, once everyone feels safe, I think that we're less than 24 hours. It was 4:45 yesterday when the vote was taken, and I got to tell you, like, we carried it live. We sat on the air, and it was tense. I looked over my co-host, and he had his hand like grabbing the desk. Like it was just a surreal scene around here. And that's once people feel like they're not going to be unemployed for saying something or be threatened with such, it's going to be a real reckoning around here. The postmortems on everything that happened, good and bad, are going to be wild listening.
Final thing, Mark, do you have a sense, because we're struggling with this too, of what we're going to see on Saturday at noon?
Oh, it's the proverbial resistible force and movable object. Like it's like they, you know what I mean? Like they can, like Louisville, I think, is more likely to me to cure Florida State's ills than vice versa. Like, I think Louisville will move the ball. I think they've got a pretty good offense, but Florida State's much more likely to move the ball at will. And I was just talking about this and kind of prepping for today's show. If you can't tackle A.J. Dillon, what on earth are you going to do with Patrick and Akers? Like, that's, to me, is Louisville's just not big and stout and impressive up front, and they are going to get run over. And I have a hard time believing that they're going to be able to overcome that. Last week just sort of zapped my confidence that they'll be able to rise for a big game.
It's always a pleasure, Mark. Thanks so much for joining us. I love your insight. And are you coming down for the game, or are you going to be up there continuing to cover the events of? Obviously, we've talked about.
Yeah, everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid to leave the scene right now, so I'll be here for this one.
Be well, sir. We'll talk again soon. Thanks for joining us.
Anytime, buddy.
All right, take care. That's Mark Ennis, host of The Drive on 93.9 The Ville. That's Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. Listen, that's an interesting situation they're in. On the one hand, as a talk show host, you'd love to be in that situation. On the other hand, you'd tire real quickly of being in that situation because it's the same story every day. We've had our experience with that, with the Jameis Winston stuff off the field, and obviously I had my experience with that on a day-to-day basis when the controversy centered around what to do with Bobby Bowden. But
well, the one thing I would say is in those situations, having been through the Winston thing with you for the better part of 2 years, it was
a whirlwind. Yeah, it's every day.
If you added on the draft coverage, that was just. It was, all right, we'll prep, but it's all in pencil because there could be something that comes down at any moment during the broadcast that throws everything out the window, and then you got to restart again. And I can remember how many times did we have to go in between segments and just scour whatever the new report was and read it and command it and then come back on, or delay a segment. Like, let's do a fixed position feature, Jeff, this next segment so that we can learn what the hell's going on in the background while the other one's talking.
It's one of the detriments of the medium. It's a problem. I mean, there's so many great things and attributes about what radio can provide, but when you are a paid opinion giver, for lack of a better term, people want instant reaction and opinions about something that happens right now. And in fairness, if you attempt to be thoughtful and to think things through before you decide on something, A, you're too late, but B, to me, it becomes boring radio, but you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy that knee-jerk reacts before you know all the facts. It's really difficult. So that's why you're always in limbo in that situation. I can imagine he sat on the air yesterday somewhat in limbo, waiting, okay, well, let's see what happens here. Here's my reaction to it. Is that really what I meant to say? I mean, you got to be careful in those situations.
Well, sure, and a second story or a footnote or an extra quote can change the entirety of everything about what you just said because it's the context that you need.
Well, let's come back and comment on this, though. Let's bring it back here. It's interesting that at the end of that interview, Mark basically noted that he believes that Louisville is going to be the cure for what ails Florida State. I don't know that we would have described this game that way at any point. To hear him say that has to be a buoying effect on the fan base, I would think, listening to this show. We were joking off the air before Mark came on that we were the meme there of the two Spider-Man identical pointing at each other. That's what we were, except for the scandal currently, except for that. Just the on-field, is the message getting through? How motivated are people? Is the season lost? That one is the two Spider-Men pointing at each other. But, hey, I'm not going to lie. It's good to hear that from Mark. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Landowners, Mahindra's inventory clearance sale is going on now. We're reducing prices like never before on the toughest tractors on earth. Like a Mahindra Emax 22 as low as $99 a month. Or get up to $8,100 in cash back and savings. Plus, Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty comes standard.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Want a Mountain Dew? Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
Don't miss Dew Days Thursday at Commonwealth Shell on Capitol Circle Northwest at Commonwealth Boulevard. They'll have great prices on Dew products from noon to 6 only. Kickstart singles for only 59 cents and Dew 12-pack cans are only $1.99. This Thursday, only from noon to 6 at Commonwealth Shell.
It takes 4 essential ingredients to brew Bud Light: barley, rice, water, and hops. But this is a 30-second commercial. So here's the sound of barley malting. It's super quiet. Sorry. Here's to the beer you can always count on. Brewed to be America's favorite light lager. Bud Light, famous among friends. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Fire up the grills for another season of Seminole football.
2nd and 3, patient, then explosive, and a touchdown for the Noles.
It's Tallahassee Game Day, your ESPN Tallahassee pregame show featuring Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Yeah, I like them.
Get the latest news, interviews, and insights 3 hours ahead of kickoff before the Noles defend home turf.
Hey, on Saturday, we're going to play a game. We're going to most likely win that game, and we're going to celebrate on Sunday.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Whole Foods Market, a leader in natural and organic food that brings the highest quality of local and global products to Tallahassee. Whole Foods Market, located at 1817 Thomasville Road, and presented by MMT Clinics of Florida. Visit MMTCFL.com.
To the pylon! That's a Seminoles touchdown!
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Super Lube. Super Lube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This Day in Sports History. October 19th, 2004. Curt Schilling delivered one of the most memorable performances of his career. He allowed 1 run in 7 innings in Game 6 of the 2004 ALCS against the Yankees, all while dislocating a tendon in his right ankle. The Sox won the game on the way to completing an unprecedented comeback from a 3-0 series deficit.
The secret to better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Super Lube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles. The secret to even better gas mileage? Fuel Joules, a gas tank additive that'll increase your MPG by as much as 7%. And today, when you change your oil at Super Lube, you get a free bottle of Fuel Joules. Crystal Matthews and Amber Cossack own Solid Start, the company that makes Fuel Joules.
Every time we sell a bottle of Fuel Joules, a donation will be made to the National Breast Cancer Foundation.
In October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lubes. There's probably one right around the corner right now. Free offer valid without coupons or discounts.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautoworld.com.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Don't forget, tomorrow, in fact, this marries quite nicely with our What's on Tap feature, which we'll segue to now because, hey, man, we're going to be on location tomorrow. Cue it up, good sir.
Ready for a cold one? Proof Brewing Company and Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
Well, for tonight, anyhow, I'll be watching both the NFL and college. I suppose I'll tune in a little bit to the Memphis-Houston game. I'm not exactly compelled to watch a whole lot of that. Oakland and Kansas City is, in fact, something I will watch. We got baseball tonight? think we do.
We do. That would be Game 5 of L.A. and Chicago
They'll
from
fool
Wrigley
around.
Field.
They're not giving there's like no days off for
There are
these
no
guys.
days off, and they're staggering these double headers, too. Not today. It's a travel day for the Yankees and Astros series.
Yeah.
But they've been doing the 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock thing, and that's great and all. But from a programming standpoint, that's annoying because we have a lot of programming that takes us to 6 or 7 p.m. at minimum. So people are missing out on these Yankees-Houston games, which has been the far better series of the two.
Yeah, compelling stuff. Our thanks to Proof Brewing Company for sponsoring What's on Tap. Proof Brewing Company since 2007, offering Tallahassee's finest craft beer selections at their massive tap room in Railroad Square Art Park. All righty, and can deliciousness in stores near you.
Kansas City -3 on the road at Oakland
I
tonight.
can't read Oakland, man. They're a mess right now. Something's going on there. Their best receiver is rarely impacting the football game. I don't know why that is. Their quarterback has had a broken back, but he's playing, and just an odd step back for Oakland, who we thought there might be a bit of a regression, but they've looked really bad.
They're 2-4.
Just watching them, though. I mean, record aside, I mean, I got you. They're 2-4. But there's something else going on there. A lot of weird situations around the National Football League, college football as well, involving acrimony or problems in the locker room or distrust or confusion. You're seeing a lot of these kinds of stories. I find that fascinating. It's a coincidence. It's this kind of stuff comes and goes, but you are seeing that this year. The Raiders started the year, by the way, 2-0. They beat that Titans team on the road that we now look at and say, that's a pretty good Titans team. They beat them 26-16 to start the season cross country. And you thought, oh, the Raiders are still good. And then they turned around and beat the Jets like a drum, like you're supposed to beat the Jets, but they still beat the Jets by 25 points. It's an NFL team that you see now are keeping people close.
Sure.
So you thought, okay, all's right with Oakland. And then the wheels come off. They get pounded by Washington. Then they get pounded, or they get beat in a close game against Denver. Forgivable offenses, but then they lose by a point to the Chargers. They lose to the Ravens by 2 touchdowns. So they've lost 4 straight.
Yeah, it's momentum, man, and in the NFL that matters too. It's a week-to-week league, but you also have to help yourself and stop the bleeding. And that loss to the Chargers was that's a painful one.
That's a toughie. By the way, the Chiefs have beaten the Raiders 5 straight times. They've owned this rivalry as of late, and the Chiefs are a good football team. Just suffered their own first loss of the year.
Yeah, Kansas City is undefeated on the road this year. That first loss coming at the hands, obviously, of Pittsburgh over the weekend. And, Pittsburgh was up, but that Antonio Brown play at the end there was a bit flukish. But Kansas City, frankly, didn't score. I mean,
they struggled against the defense, yeah.
The offense had been world beaters for 5 games in a row. This is the first time it wasn't. We'll see if they rebound. It's a short week, though, so the hard part about handicapping a game like this is there's no preparation. This is a vanilla game, one way and the other.
You know what I find weird is looking around the league right now where you think you've got a pretty good handle on young quarterback play, where you kind of look at a young guy like Marcus Mariota, or you look at a young guy like Jameis Winston, you look at a young player like Derek Carr who's a year ahead, or you look at players like that and you think, okay, well, the future of the quarterback position is in pretty good shape. We've got some young stars emerging, and we've got some other kids that don't look like they're going to make it. And then this year happens, and Derek Carr